Got a lot of folks popping in here tonight. We got a great demo coming up for you this evening, folks. And we got a whole lot more going on. Um, did we get the new edition of the newsletter pop up tonight?
It was posted about 2 a.m. this morning. I tagged everybody on the group on Facebook, so you should have had an alert.
Oh, I didn't get that alert. Or I was using the wrong computer, but I'll pop it up in a minute and look at it.
Yeah, it's there.
It's
a good issue.
Great issue. Oh, goodness.
I'm sorry, I didn't get it up on the website yet, but I will get it up tonight. I've been having computer problems, bandwidth problems, and router problems all week. Hopefully, I'm going to get the hardware problems solved today. Bandwidth is still causing me some hassles tonight.
Oh, let's tighten up here, Dave.
Are you in the storm, Dave?
I'm in a storm at the moment, but the hardware and router problems have just been problems. For example, a moment ago, I had the microphone on and the system claimed it was off. So I'm having weird problems tonight.
Yeah, you got the California gremlins going on.
Yeah, and you should call Radio Shack about that computer, Dave. Let me just.
I should.
Sounds it's time to pull the plug and then count to 15 and plug it back in.
I'm just happy you can now see me. I think a few minutes ago you couldn't see it because I couldn't get the video to work.
Well, I'll tell you, what you do is a great job. I'll tell you that, Dave.
Really be careful about my teasing with them because it is a good job.
Unbelievable.
Well, I will try to get everything all caught up this week. Everything will get up early.
I took the bull by the horns this week, and by my last calculation, I'm at, well, let me do the math here, 2,128 copies of the newsletter went out from me with a note to 2,128 woodturners around the world, inviting them to join us and take a look at our newsletter.
Wow.
And I got those names from clubs who openly share their mail things and people who have sent me emails and had open CCs. And I got one of my computers will capture. I have no idea how the setting got into it. It's a very antique Mac, and I won't upgrade it or touch it. But every time it gets a message in from somebody, it saves all the CCs. And that contact thing it's still got hundreds on it. It's just the bandwidth is low, so it won't send out all these messages rapidly. And that's why I can do the math. It'll say, all of a sudden I'll say issued, and it'll say 56 or 58 or whatever. And then I'll know that it sent those out. And then I'm getting responses back. And I'm sending them all out as me, not as Worldwide Woodturners at Gmail.
Yeah.
And got some great responses from folks. I mean, I've heard from friends I hadn't seen and talked to in the last 4 or 5 years from SWAT that say, is that where it went? Is that what's happening? Yes, that's where it went, and that's what's happening. It just keeps hold on tight because we're just getting cranking. Yeah. But it's really good to hear from some folks and get an update. And now we've got 2,128 potential new members. In fact, I'm hearing from members from my old club that said, "How did you get those addresses? Our club doesn't share those addresses." No, your club did share the addresses. The guy sending out the memos forgot to make them BCC, and I got copied. Oh, they're not supposed to do that. So, what secrets did they?
Yeah.
Is what we're any of us doing secret? If so, we're terrible at secrets. I'm still waiting for my hats to come in. I ordered the hats. And then I found out that one of my old friends makes them and does embroidery work on hats. He's out of the town where Elvis was born. It's in Mississippi someplace. I'm terrible with that stuff. But
Tupelo.
Tupelo, yeah, he lives in Tupelo, and he's got a hat business in his daddy's old barbershop place. When his daddy passed, he inherited the building, and it sat there for years. And it's like, in those old towns, it's like 20-foot wide, and it's like a mile deep. And he was using it for a warehouse, and now he's got some of these embroidery machines embroidery machines, and he gets his wife and his daughter and his stepdaughter, and daughter-in-laws, and all these people go there, and they come in every day, and they set these machines up and run groups of hats, and they do them for ball clubs. And he got one this week for a guy with McGuire's Auto Parts, and they would talk for a minute, and he said something about me and wood turning, and the guy McGuire's and I served together in Vietnam. And Willie says, "Oh man, I know him." And they were talking. So he gave me a call to tell me how things went. But he's doing about 300 or 400 hats a week, and it's all a family business. And they come in and knock them out. And he said his major expense was a big TV to keep those ladies entertained. And all we have to do is do the hustle. Pick up the packages and get them to UPS. So it's nice to hear from them. So I sent him. He's got the logo off the site and everything. So let's play around with this a little bit, see what he comes up with. But I said, well, if I want to deal with you, I want to see the physical hat, because I've got enough of these things I've bought over the internet that the hat. I don't want to get involved in something that's like getting screen printing done on a cheap shirt. It doesn't work out, So, looking at hats, as I say, does it have to fit your head? It's got to fit your lifestyle. So we'll look at that a little bit. We've got a little gallery coming up tonight, folks. It's just about top of the hour, a minute or two away. If you got something to show up, give us an idea on. Remember the rules. We have a no but guarantee. That's the beauty of this operation. We have a no but guarantee. I am not qualified to critique your work. Neither is anybody else. We're not here to critique your work. I want to see what you did. And we got some really great members who always up to something. I mean, when I tuned in tonight, there he sat right there. One of our members, Scott, had a bowl holding up. No, it's the bottom of a covered dish. I'm gonna get this I gotta get right, Dane. Get the description right.
Yep.
Well, it was bottom of a covered dish. The Dane called it a bowl. Scott's kind of particular about this, but he fixed a crack and how he fixed it. But that was the first sight I saw tonight. Was he went to the recovery room, right? Tim Hatch. Went right to the recovery room and had an idea. And he did it with something simple. And we'll talk about that more when it comes up. But if you got something, come on. Nobody guarantee. I can see what you want, but it's not a way in the world I can say. But no, that's not permitted. I just want to see some greatest art in a wood turning world. And that's why everything you see here tonight, everything, our webmaster Dave puts every single item on our website and it stays there. We are the most open club in the entire world. There's no secrets. There's no board. There's no back in the corner negotiations. None of that. It's all right here.
Secret handshakes.
I love it. I love it. Right up front. So we got in gallery pulling around out there. I mean, I see names popping up.
Oh yeah, we got a selection of a few folks coming in already.
Any honest ones?
Well,
I mean, good ones?
well, possibly. Let's see what this guy's got. So this is the results of my early morning hours, all nighter turning and playing. So
Is this what we saw on the lake earlier?
No. Well, it was on.
Okay.
No, it wasn't on the lathe. It was a separate piece of wood. This morning I put on. So I had a little piece of curly cherry that wanted to be a box.
Pretty.
And then,
What's the answer?
And then I am a piece of Mojave turquoise. And then the black is iron acetate.
That's some nice.
That's nice.
Wow.
That's cool.
Here's the inside.
Flat black on the inside, shiny on the outside.
That's very
Yep.
nice, Dave.
Yeah, no finish
Oh.
on the inside. And so it's just a simple 3408 buffed on Vonix.
But the black lets the jewelry shine.
Yep. So nice little $20 box.
Very nice.
There you go.
Thank you. All right. Enough about me. Let's go see what Brenda's got.
Well, good. I don't want to follow Dane anymore either.
You're too much, girl. You're fine.
I made picture frames
Yes,
Wow.
you did.
That's
and I
pretty.
just made them flat
And it looks really good too.
because I wanted to laser the names in them. I got 6 frames on my stairway. As you're going up my stairway, I got my 2 daughters, my 2 granddaughters, and my 2 grandsons. So I wanted to redo all the picture frames to match. So,
That's nice.
Yeah, that looks
good, Brenda.
and here's another one.
That's
And
pretty.
it's different than the other one, so I've decided that I'm gonna make this wood for the girls and then the other one for the boys. So I've got 3 of them done.
That's pretty.
Those are
It
nice.
is.
All
Yeah,
right,
those
now
are very nice.
I got a question for you, Scott.
Okay.
Showed us these last week. So how do we hold the pictures on the inside? On the back?
So I use like push points that you use for holding glass into a window sash. They're little.
Okay.
They got a point on one end, and then they got
Right.
like a piece of angle iron, and they push in. I don't have any right now to show you, but they just
I
push.
know what
You
you're
push
talking
them in
about.
with
You
a
put-
putty knife,
It looks like a staple. It looks
kind of like a staple. Yep, flat
looks
staple.
like a staple.
Okay.
They're called
Like I say-
glazer pins for glazing windows or
Glazing
glazer
windows,
pins.
Mhm,
yes, that's
mhm.
what I
Yep.
was thinking.
Yep.
Okay. And I have been trying to cut plexiglass to put, glass in them. And plexiglass is not cutting on my laser.
Oh,
Cut
no,
it
it
on-
melts.
Brenda, I cut mine on the bandsaw.
I tried that too and it just cracked.
Did you?
What kind of blades do both of you use?
Yeah. What kind of blade are you using?
Another one that's on the bandsaw.
I'm using a pretty.
Bandsaw blade, man.
I'm
Remember
using,
who you're talking to here, folks.
Exactly, Eddie. Yeah.
I'm using the same one I used to
You did a
cut the
really
bowl
nice-
blanks. Brenda, I'm using the one I showed you guys when I was cutting bowl blanks months ago,
Yeah.
and that's like 3 teeth per inch. Pretty aggressive. I don't have a problem. I'm cutting 1/8 inch plexiglass with it, not having a problem.
Mine just cracked.
If you cover the plexiglass with tape, like masking tape, and then cut it, that might eliminate your problem.
And,
That might.
and covered on both sides, not just one side. Put it in a
Right.
sandwich of tape.
Right.
And I
When I posted it on Facebook, Kelly suggested that I paint one side of the plexiglass. Well, that didn't help. I burnt right through it and right through onto my plate. And
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't.
I've
You gotta
cut a
be
circle
careful
out of
doing
my
it with laser.
table and
Is that a diode laser?
no, it's a Niji, 20-watt Niji.
Yeah, that's a diode based laser. You can't cut clear plexiglass with that. You can cut one with a CO2 laser, but not that.
Okay. Not even with tape?
Not even with tape.
No, it's
You're
gonna
not-
melt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It,
It
yeah,
melted
it's just
it
going to
when I
burn
opened it up.
whatever's on the bottom of it. After it goes, you could use that tape or a paint to etch it, but it's not gonna cut it.
That it did, yeah.
Best thing I found to cut plexiglass is a 90 tooth blade on the table saw.
Yeah, but you can't cut circles
Yeah, but
with
you're
it.
not cutting circles on the table saw.
So Brenda, take your circle cutting jig that I showed you how to make.
Yeah.
Put that on your table saw and slide the piece out that you normally would use to cut circles. Just use that plywood for the top. The reason you're breaking that plexiglass is because you don't have a zero clearance fence on your bandsaw. So you got to have zero clearance, like you saw it into a board and then cut on top of that board, so that kerf is supported when it goes through that plexiglass. Otherwise, it's going to crack it.
The glass is trying to flex.
Glass is trying to
see.
flex
Yeah.
next to the blade.
Makes
So you need a zero. So just put your circle cutting jig in that I know you made. Take the pin and slide it all the way out so you're not messing with that pin, and cut your plexiglass on there, because that's how I did it.
Okay.
Guys, hey, wait a minute, we're wood turners. Hey, turn a disc out of plywood or something, the size you want. And cut a piece of your plexiglass, whatever you want, sandwich
you
that
did.
against a flat piece of wood. Put this disc against it, put your tailstock against it, and take your skew chisel and stick it in there. Stand back and just relax. Wear a face
Yep.
shield. Just push on it. I make 3-inch discs all day long. I teach it, and
Really?
I make kaleidoscopes. I make all those things, and
Okay.
cut it with a skew chisel.
Well,
Take
for
your time.
now, I give up and order. I found some on Amazon, 6-inch.
So that's better yet, but
Yeah.
Those
I also got a recovery here.
those indexing wheels that I made out of plexiglass with the paper from, I printed a paper protractor.
Yeah.
And I just put the that spray glue on and then glued it onto the plexiglass, and I just put it on my lathe and turned it round on my lathe. And I used a skew chisel just like Jim is suggesting.
Okay. Well, I got more plexiglass. I could try.
There you go.
So my coffee cup here, I made I don't know, several years ago. It needed refinished, and 2-3 weeks ago it cracked while I was filling it. Scared the crap out of me. So I put some of this that stuff that Doug Miller showed us a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. The
Resin-crete.
Yeah, the resin-crete. I put resin-crete in it. And when I ordered the resin-crete, they also had ink that came with it. So I bought the bottle of, I don't know, like 8 different colors. So I chose the bright pink because I figured it'd be nice and bright and cheery for coffee in the morning. Right?
Good deal.
So yeah, coffee cup got redone.
Glad it worked for you.
Yeah. So that came out real nice. I like that. That stuff was real easy to use.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it. Sanded down real nice. Filled in that crack real nice. Yep. So that's all I got.
Do you
Right
use
on, Brenda.
that every day?
I've got one of them clips if you want to see what they look like.
I think I know what you're talking about. They're diamond shape,
Yeah.
triangle shape, maybe.
Oh, Dane wants to highlight me. I'll show it to you.
Which one am I highlighting, Dan?
No, it don't matter.
Sterling Heights?
Yeah.
Need to mute your other one.
Oh, okay.
why would you have 2? I do bad enough with 1.
Yeah. It's a glacier point.
There
Okay.
you go. That's the
Yep.
job.
When you
That's
use them
one
for
thing.
glazer points and you push them in, your glazing covers what's left sticking out.
Right.
Mhm.
I've done that years ago. Right.
Very good.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep. Thanks, Dan.
And then there was a link for purchase them put in earlier in the chat
Oh,
for
okay.
those that are interested. So,
Okay.
right.
Yeah,
I
I think
could
that's
add
like
one little thing
55
to
of
all
them for
that.
like 219.
I actually cut glass in the same way that Jim was talking about the plexiglass and cut circles in it. I put it up against a plywood disc with a shelf paper on it. And then I cut a small disc and put it in a tailstock, push it up against it on the glass and hold the glass cutter on the tool rest and roll it around with my hand. And then I cut off straight lines to the edge every couple of inches and just take a pair of running pliers and snap off the pieces and touch it off on a piece of sandpaper and cut round disc of all sizes on it.
With
Done
glass.
it a lot.
Yeah, but
Works
you're doing it
quite
with a
easy,
glass
actually.
cutter, Brenda, don't turn your lathe on and cut it.
No, don't turn the lathe on. Yeah.
No.
Don't
That'd be
use your
scary.
skew either, unless you got a carbide skew.
If you do, get out of the shop.
Okay.
But it works really well. I cut all kinds of picture frames and the kaleidoscope glass and the little round ones. I cut them all as small as like an inch in diameter. And
With
it
the
works pretty
glass
good.
cutter
You break a
and
few,
lathe.
but it works if you want to use glass. It's a
Okay.
low tech thing. If you're really good at it, you can buy some of them $30 glass cutters that Jim uses, but I use them once and throw them away usually. So I get cheap ones. But they work.
Yep.
Huh.
Right on. Thanks, Terry. All right, let's go see what Ruby's got. Hey, Ruby.
Evening, Ruby.
Hi. A few
Ruby,
days
how are
ago,
Three times in one day.
true. A few days ago, the wood mill called and said they had a job for me to do, so I beat it over there and picked up the wood. And while I'm there, I always go through their bin of wood that are cut-offs that they bundle up to sell off as firewood. So I snagged this one little piece of walnut and
Little
decided
piece?
to make a little walnut dish out of it. And the chatoyance and the quilting in it was just stunning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh
Beautiful.
my, that
It's
is
a
lovely.
great
I
piece of
don't
walnut.
dare show them what I did with it.
That's one of those pieces that will wink at you from across the room.
Mhm.
Pretty Ruby.
I was just so
Very
pleased
nice,
with the
Ruby.
way it came out.
Yeah.
Bet you are.
Your lighting's great too. It shows it really nice.
Thank you.
I'll never get that right.
Okay, that's all I have to show.
All right. Thank you, Ruby.
I was just sorry I had to follow Brenda.
No.
Y'all stop.
Stop me again.
I
Al.
don't think so, Brenda.
Al, turn your video on. There we go.
You're muted, Al.
Muted.
Oh, poor Albert. He's got problems tonight.
There you go.
Turns, let's see here. Turned another little candle holder.
Nice.
This one here it was a little bit funny. It was a piece of, it was firewood, but I said, let me see. And I got a nice little flare out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Unique.
Looks good, Albert.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm playing around, a friend of mine and myself, we were trying to see how many different axes. So we come up with making a jack.
Oh my.
Oh, wow.
Goodness.
Hey, you took the points out. They're no fun to step on if you take the points out.
Very nice, Al.
It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I worked on a piece. I started last week at this time It was supposed to be a wine bottle. It turned out to be a vase. It's nothing like what I had in mind. There's a wine glass in the middle here. This is a I'm sorry, an inside out turning. It's an inside out turning, and I took this apart 5 times this week and glued it back together 5 times because I was able to get this here, and I was able to get this, and it would come straight to the middle. It would be a spade. And I said, how the heck can I make the brim, the brim of the glass? And I take it apart and I glue it back together, and I thought I'd have it here. Then it would make it bigger. I said, okay, the whole thing just needs to be bigger. So this really was only supposed to be about 3 inches. About 3 inches. And I had a big piece, and I figured I'm going to make it nice and slim, and I'm going to cork on it, and I'll have that glass in there. You know, I don't
Yeah.
But anyway, it turned out to be a beast.
That's pretty.
It's nice, Al. It's real
And,
nice.
That's really good.
That is really nice, Al.
Inside out turning is it's a challenge. It's a challenge. It really is.
You did a great job on it.
Now, Ruby,
Al,
you still have
sorry, Al, did you
Yes.
turn the outside of that once you'd encased the glass?
Say that again?
Did you turn the outside
Yes.
once you had encased the glass?
No. That was afterwards. I had it turned, and then I made that glass to fit into one of these slots.
Right.
Okay.
Is what I.
You get a lot nicer shape on the outside. I used to, well, I have done, not recently, but I used to do decanters inside, involuted like that. I was probably the only idiot to put a glass decanter on my lathe. But if you get the speed right and you get the air right in the center, it will stay. And I have turned, and I do turn the outside of them with the glass inside. You get a much better shape, but you have got to get the shape correct in the first place.
That would be white for sure.
You're the first man that's shown a glass within an involuted. That's why I jumped in and asked the question. Have you managed to put that on your lathe and hold it in place?
No, not me.
But you cheated.
I told you from the beginning, I'm a sissy. I'll just go so. Now, Ruby, you still have birds in my mind, so I.
Like it.
I love it, Al.
Yeah, that's cool.
Make you go crazy.
Put a blade on it. Put it outside.
How'd you turn that?
Sleep.
Nice job.
But thank you so much, everybody. I hope everyone's
Thanks, Al.
Nice stuff.
I hope. Good night.
Great.
All right. Let's go over and see what Mr. Miller's got.
All right. First
Got
off,
you, Doug?
Oh, wow.
I was wearing that tonight. I thought, well, let's just show it off. Had a strange text, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. Fella says, why don't we do an exchange? I said, okay. And we talked back and forth and finally figured out what he wanted to do. And, relatively small, and he wanted to do an inlay project. And then I'm just about done with it. And he says, why don't we do a collab? And so I'm trying to figure out what in the world this guy wants. Anyway, I've done mine. He hadn't done his yet. This is what I did. It's a piece of Osage orange. And we did some of the Pearl X powder and super glue for the inlay. 6.5 inches in diameter, about 2.5 tall. Just a nice little OG shape on the outside. Came out real nice. It's a little heavy, a little thick, but the whole thing was the inlay, not how thin we could get it. And then yesterday I picked up a piece of oak. In fact, I got this piece of oak from Trace. Trace was through here a couple years ago and he brought me some live oak. And so I turned this with a natural edge on it. I had 2 or 3 people, oh, great live edge, great live edge. Well, there's no bark on it. The bark's all gone. It was falling off before I started turning. So had a little crack. When we got through with it, we noticed a crack. And Ruby was one of them. Wayne was the other. Said you need to fill that. Don't let that go. So we filled it with coffee grounds and Parfex. It had a bark inclusion in the backside that had fallen out. Excuse me. And so there again, I cleaned it out good. Coffee grounds, Parfex, and it worked out really good. Finished with walnut oil, and I will wait a couple of days and I'll buff this real good on the Beal buffing system. So that's what I've got.
Well done.
Nice.
Got my-
Looks
Yep.
nice.
It came out really nice.
Great save, Doug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
And I'm glad you clarified that it wasn't Wayne and I that were correct.
No, the bull, not you guys.
Yeah.
However, there are times.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't worry. I don't think that's true. So, a lot of people in this meeting are cracked. Or they wouldn't be here, right? Right?
That's a good
I
possibility.
agree.
Or at least warped.
All right, let's go,
Yeah.
let's go see what Roger's got here.
All right,
Hey, Roger.
Roger.
All right, I got another ash bowl.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Very nice.
Beautiful grain on that.
Yeah, real pretty grain.
This is the best one looking of all of them that I've done so far, so. It's 12.5 inches in diameter and about 3.5 inches tall.
Wow.
Really nice,
That's
Roger.
one you can be proud of. It's
Yeah,
got
I
a
like
nice
this one.
shape and form to it.
So,
Well done, Roger.
thank you.
Good job.
All right, let's go see what our good editors got going on.
Alrighty. So probably around Wednesday or Thursday last week, I was playing around with just making a little coffee cup, little drinking vessel. And I was thinking about handle. And so this is just a nice little piece of maple that I just made we used to call them gimbal cups in the Navy. In the up until about the 1970s, coffee cups on Navy ships didn't have handles because they were all made to sit in a gimbal, which would keep the cup level. So you couldn't have a handle. But somewhere around the 80s, they went to handle cups. So this is just a version of a gimbal cup. And I was thinking about well, I can do better than that. So I took a block of cherry and I turned this one. And it's on 2 axes. And there were some challenges. This came out of a 5 by 6 by 10 block of a slab of cherry. And this one's went okay. Turned the handle axis first, and then the cup part is actually end grain. And then of course I had to put it on my workbench and carve the middle. So I got that done, I think Friday. And then Saturday, I taught a pen turning class, and this is a Desire. No, I'm sorry. This is a Coyote from Mackenzie Penworks. That's one of the blanks that we prepped in the class.
Wow.
And this is another one I prepped for the class.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
That went really well. And this is another one I prepped for the class. That's the Desire.
Okay.
Very cool. And then Joe from Wood Heap sent me this blank for the class. So that's his glue up.
Nice.
Wow.
Well, while I was prepping for the class, I broke my phone. and got very, very frustrated.
Yeah.
So I decided on Sunday, instead of pouting because I had a broken phone, I would make another mug. And this time I was a little risky with it. So I had this thing swinging around off center. I managed to get it up to 600 RPM and was able to cut the handle. And then again, between centers, and this is end grain. And I got it carved. I got it turned, carved, sanded. I reversed it to take the tenon off, and as soon as I got the tenon parted, I relieved enough tension that this sucker cracked right across the bottom.
Bummer.
So this will be a pen holder, but it won't ever hold coffee in it. So that's been my week.
Right on, JJ.
I wonder if Brewer's pitch would take care of that.
I don't know.
Drink fast.
This is more of a proof of concept anyway, but I'm probably going to go back to hard maple simply because it's a denser grain and it ends up finishing. And this cherry, these two pieces of cherry out of this slab, they both gave me fits. It was really persnickety the whole time. So the fact that I actually got a solid piece out of it, 2 solid pieces out of it, is amazing because this stuff fought me.
Well done. Well done.
Nice.
Good job, Jay. All right, let's go see Mr. Grinstead. Hey, Bob.
Hey, guys. Yep. Hello. I got a couple of pieces here. I just turning for empty bowls, a food project here. But this one here is just, a piece of walnut. Turned out pretty good. It's
I'd say so.
Parfex on it.
Yeah.
And then this one here was a platter. It was just a thinner piece I had, but you turn several bowls for them. They put them in auctions, so I thought, well, I'd just give them a plate and they can platter and they can auction that off too.
Yep.
So, anyway, just
Very nice, Bob.
Well, thanks. Yep.
See that frog? Look,
I
there's a
didn't hear
frog
you.
right in the middle.
Looks like a little thing in it.
I said there's a frog in the middle of it.
Oh, a little frog in there. Yeah, there might be. I don't know. I have to look at that thing again to find that frog. But
I'm glad Brenda's back with us. Look at
that's
that.
right. Yeah, she's looking for animals, isn't she? Well, there's a giraffe or something, maybe an anteater over here. You see his nose coming down.
Yeah.
I see three mice.
Yeah.
Looks like a 2-headed frog.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be a 3-toed sloth.
Yeah.
There you go, 3-toed sloth. But it turned out fine. It's it looks like
I need to go get a beer. You guys are killing me.
Yeah, there you go. I think this was part of a what do you call it? Where he goes out both directions. Crotch. And I think this was just the thin edge of that crotch. It looks like you can see 2 or 3 different deals coming out of it. So but anyway, it turned out real pretty. And
very nice.
But that's all I've been doing is trying to make bowls for empty bowls. Most of them are bigger than this one, but they still like them. So that's all I got, guys.
Did you buff that?
Nice.
Yeah, that's all buffed out. That's that correct.
Nice job. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parfex works pretty good.
It does, as long as you can buff it. If
Right.
you can't buff it, it's not.
All right, let's go see what Mr. Bundy's got. Hey, Charlie. You're looking spry.
If y'all remember, right before Christmas, I made a whole bunch of clocks. Well, I had to do one more.
Is it time for clocks?
Oh my.
Oh, wow.
Back it
And
up.
it was a pain.
Pretty.
Nice, Charlie.
Yeah, it looks good, Charlie.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah, you're looking
the
good at
clock
those.
base is maple. The rest of it is box elder.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
pretty cool.
That is.
The hard part is the pieces making them is easy. But when you put the pendulum in, everything has to be balanced, centered, squared, one thing off, and it won't swing.
Yeah.
That's all I got for today.
Nice job.
Okay, thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
All right, let's go see what Mr. Johnson's got going on.
Well, I was gonna, I turned a piece of pear, and I was gonna carve it out to make a basket weave pattern, but it was kind of wet when I turned it, so I was gonna turn it into a pencil holder.
Oh.
There and there. So anyway, that's one thing. Now today I got myself a piece of plum and I started turning it, and it's got all this nice cracks and stuff in it. And I kept having to put dust and CA glue in the crack to keep the thing from falling apart while I was turning it and hollowing it out. I got it down to 3/16 thick, and I was afraid to go any further. So anyway, I put some lacquer on it, and I thought, well, maybe it'll be presentable enough for us tonight to see. But
I love it. I love the character.
yeah, it does. Cracks give it character, you know, and it's got this thing here, and it makes. And I did a little bit of engraving on it, so
That
anyway.
grain is awesome.
Wow. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It really does. It turned out a lot better than I thought it would. So anyway, so anyway, the reason this is raised up is because I had a mortise on the bottom, and I was getting it so thin I didn't want to cut into the mortise, so I left that raised up. So
Well, that's all right.
but anyway,
That's a big piece of plum. I've never seen one that big, I guess.
yeah, I've got another one too. The problem is on the back side, it's just like this, you know, and it's it may be part of it maybe this thick, and then some of it's this thick, but it's just looks like ocean waves. So
yeah,
there's a lot of waste involved with it. But anyway,
it's real pretty.
Yeah, it is. I've got a couple things I want to show. I'm going to share my screen with here. And share. Here we go. Whoop. Where we at? Here we go. Well, heck, what happened?
Wow. I didn't do it.
I didn't do it, huh?
No, I didn't do it.
Let's see. Share.
If you click on them, is that what you were trying to show with those bigger plates at a bigger size?
Yeah, this right here and share.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
Yeah, we're seeing it.
Okay, but anyway, this is a piece of spalted hackberry that I was able to into a bowl and engrave. It was on. I put it on Facebook. There may have been some people that didn't get to see it, but anyway.
Sure. But it's pretty.
Just shake my head. There's no words to say to this.
Sure.
My God.
He's getting that laser down pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, anyway, I put some black dye here to kind of give it a little bit of shading.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I cut that hackberry, and then I wrapped it up in the shrink wrap, and let it spalt, and it spalted in that shrink wrap. So I was able to pull it out and turn this little bowl. So, but anyway,
That's pretty cool.
Hackberry spalts very, very quickly.
Yeah, it does. I got some more out there that I gotta go ahead and cut and turn, or else it's going to go punky on me. So, but anyway, this piece really turned out pretty nice, I thought. So anyway, that's all I had. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you. You can stop screen share.
Okay.
Right on. All right, so we're gonna go to Martin Clarkson, but we got to do a screen share. I've got the photos on my side and Martin's gonna talk about it. So go ahead, Martin.
I'm just not very good at screen sharing with me being on my phone, so I'm hoping Dane can. Just going on to that involuted that I was talking about earlier on. I've sent Dane a couple of pictures. You can see that one there. That's where the decanter is actually inside the piece. So it's encased already. So what I do is I turn the inside shape, I line the decanter up, and then I block the decanter. I think Dane's got another picture where he can show where the decanter actually gets clamped up and blocked inside the block, and then you follow the outside shape. So you create the inside shape first and then follow the outside. Dane, have you got another picture there?
Yeah, I do. Trying to get to it. So let me do this.
You did very well with the first one.
And then photo. Which one you want here, Martin?
There's
the one with the decanter in it.
Yeah.
Second one.
Yeah, that's the finished decanter, and if you can see on that finished decanter where you look at the outside edges, they almost look like they are protruding the outside of the timber, and that's not the case. The timber sits, if it's cut correctly, it'll look like it's sticking out, but it doesn't. At no point can your tool hit that decanter. But you have got to get it really quite fine and really quite thin on the outside edges.
Yeah.
That's
that
beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
About the third attempt, and I think Dane's got one more picture to show you how not to do it.
That would scare the crap out of me, and I'm fearless.
Yeah, don't show that.
Well, on this one, it's a collection of the photographs showing you the whole process.
I have some of those.
And that one was a piece of walnut, and it actually, I had enough walnut to complete it, but unfortunately, I did break that decanter that was there, so I ended up having to replace the decanter. But it was actually for a commission, and that decanter is on Duncan Bannatyne's boat. He ordered that from me, and unfortunately, I had to get the new decanter. So I nearly ended up not making any money on that.
Okay, now, hey Martin. Martin. Okay, now you had the glass figure, and you made the inside out turning to fit that, right?
Yeah, what I do is I take the decanter, I take the decanter you'll see on that picture, and what I do is I actually turn it 3 times. So I glue the 4 blocks together, and then I cut the hole that the decanter head is going to fit into, so that it is the depth of the decanter neck. I then
so the top,
I break up the 4 parts, and I then turn them around and cut the inside shape that lines up, so that you'll see on that last photograph that Dane was showing, I sit the decanter actually down onto the wood while it's on the lathe to make sure that the shape is following that decanter.
Go back to that other one.
You make a template of the decanter?
No, I just keep offering it up.
I see.
It's
not that one, the other one.
Not that one, the one with a collection of them, Dane.
Okay.
Right.
You're doing a better job than I am, because we wouldn't have had any pictures so far.
Just on the fly.
Right, you can see on the picture to the right hand side, second one up, I just keep offering the decanter up to make sure I've got that shape and it's sitting correctly.
Okay.
And it's got to
And
end up
once
in
I've got it,
center.
once I've got it sitting correctly, I then take it across, and you can see it clamped up in the box of 4 at the other side.
Mhm.
Right.
And then when it's turned, or when it's turning, if you have a look on the last picture that you just put on there, Dane, where it's spinning, I make a plug that fits in the top of the decanter to keep it centrally square. See the end there?
Mhm.
Right.
Right at the end, at the tailstock end, there is a plug that keeps me dead square on that decanter.
Show them yet?
Oh yeah.
And I make the first cuts,
So you're not gonna
Okay.
show
and
'em?
then I stop the lathe and I check to make sure that I'm cutting nice and square, because you'll end up going through one side, which is on that photograph where I've gone. I haven't
that
been.
photograph right there, that shiny part in the middle, that's the glass.
That's the glass inside
Yeah.
spinning.
My God.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I,
Well,
when
no.
I first, you can knock that off now, Dane. When I first
Alright.
tried to do this, where the idea come from, I really, really wanted to create a whiskey bottle inside and involuted. So I set to with a whiskey bottle and quickly realized that this was not only costing me a lot of money in whiskey going up the wall, my wife thought I was an alcoholic, because every
Yeah.
time she come down, the workshop stunk of whiskey. That was
Oh,
that was
boy.
the first involuted that I did was actually an encased whiskey bottle. And then I had the idea, you know, that once somebody's drank the whiskey, it's no longer an ornament. And I had the idea of trying to turn the decanter, because the decanter is reusable, as well as that it makes a lovely ornament. So that's why I started turning the decanters. But I only ever made them to order. There was only 7 that I made. Would I go back to doing them? Yeah, I probably would. I enjoyed making them. That one that you saw there that Dane showed, that one was segmented involuted, which was even more complicated, because you had the different woods glued together first before I had to cut them square. And you have got to get them dead square.
It's a heck of a challenge to make that fit inside there.
Yeah.
My good. I took that apart 5 times and glued it back together this past week.
Yeah, well, if you line it up, the only thing that you've got to think about is that first you are breaking them 4 blocks 3 times rather than 2 times, because otherwise, when if you try to cut that inside shape on that, when you glue them together first, cut that inside shape, the minute you turn them around, you're going to end up with like a flower pattern, and you don't want a flower pattern at the top where the neck is. So you've got to cut that neck first. If you cut that neck first, break them up, turn them around, now cut your inside shape, and then put them up, turn them around, lock in your item, you will have it dead central, and then you can work on the outside.
I made the cork first.
Yeah.
I was ready, but I couldn't. I couldn't figure out how it kept being a spade, and I couldn't figure out how to make that open part for the glass. And by the time I was done, it was this big compared to the way it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But,
well,
you're pretty inspiring guy, I'll tell you. Pretty inspiring.
I'm sure you will get them. I'm sure you'll get them over there. But the little miniature bottles that you buy quite often are plastic. And I would say that if anybody wants to have a go at that involuted, it's great fun. But buy yourself some of them little plastic miniature bottles and make some small ones. Don't go wasting huge amounts of timber and loads of glass bottles or decanters. Try with your small ones first and work up. It took me months to get the first one off, and a lot of cost. I spent a lot of money on timber. I spent a lot of money on whiskey. A lot of money on whiskey.
Practice with that and water bottles. plastic
Water bottles, plastic bottles.
Yep.
Pretty
That's
good,
great.
Mark.
That's great. Thank you, Mark.
Right on. Thank you, Mark.
Yep, thanks.
All right, let's go over to Mr. Kingsley.
Yeah,
We got
I'm
you,
here.
Dave.
Yeah, you make me follow him. Thanks.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. I set you up that way.
But I've got a total failure here. Well, not a total failure, but I was trying an experiment of starting off with a huge crack, and I haven't done much with epoxy, and I thought I'd try it. And then I started with a fairly small hole and ended up getting a catch, which took a big chunk out of it, and I had to fix. And then the finial turned out to be just a little big, and I had to trim it down. But it's done.
Nice.
And I learned a lot. I mean, I consider it a failure that I learned a whole lot on. So
well, that's good. That's the
I guess that makes it sort of a success, but
yeah, that's a win, because that's something you
it's
can
getting there.
take to future projects.
Yeah. You win some, you lose some.
Right.
In this case, I
So-
lost about three
Three
times, but
That's a nice
So-
case.
yeah.
So Dave, what was the key lesson you learned?
Start with a better piece of wood.
Now, aside from that, wood's it's going to move or crack. There's no control of that.
Yeah. But well, I learned I have to, if I'm going to hollow, try not to start with such a small hole. At least until I get a lot better at hollowing, because that hole started at 13/16, and now it's almost 1 3/4. So, but the wood itself it's a piece I didn't want to throw in the burn pile, because it was some special trees here in town, and people will pay extra because it's those trees.
Right.
And so I didn't want to throw it away, but
It's still beautiful.
yeah.
Yep.
Good job,
Yes,
Dave.
it is.
It's there. It's done. And so am I.
Good job. Good job.
All right, let's go over to Mr. Phipps.
All right. Well, I'll follow him with another failure. So I have this bowl here that
Where's the rest of it?
yeah, I'll show it to you in a second. But my goal was, I had turned the outside of this bowl, and I had put the carnival colors on the outside of it, and then I have the resin-crete that Doug had shown a couple of weeks ago. And after I flipped it around and flattened the surface, I used the parting tool and put a nice groove in there and inlaid that resin-crete. But the resin-crete is great to work with. It's easy. It sets up fast. You can work it. I thought it dulled the tools a little bit, but it was great to work with. The only thing I didn't like is I hated the color on it. And so I decided I would just cut it all out. And so I got pretty thin at the edge of my bowl, and I went a little too deep with it before I got the thinness down the side, and it was starting to chatter a lot, and I didn't pay attention as much as I should have, and so it blew up. So after I picked it up off the floor, I took the inside of the bowl and I put a tenon on it so I could hold it again and reshape the outside. So here's what was left of it, that I reshaped the outside of it, put a little detail on the bottom of it, and then that's what's left of my of my bowl.
That's a great save.
Nice recovery.
Yeah. So that's that. Oh, and then the resin-crete, I like the resin-crete and I want to work with it. I put a lot of that carnival color, or that carnival stain in there, that Hampshire sheen carnival stain. And I felt like, man, I was spending a lot of money on carnival color stain, because that stuff's not cheap. So, the outside of it was this color, and the carnival color, and I put a lot of it in there, never got any brighter than that comparatively.
Yeah.
And so, but what I wanted to see was I threw a different color in there real quick, and I was curious as to what kind of separation you would get in the colors if you poured it in there and mixed it around a little bit. And that stuff, just like people do with pen blanks and stuff, that stuff it separates really well. And so
that's very interesting.
Yeah,
Sure
so
is. Almost like a marbling effect.
Exactly, right. And so yeah, I think I'm going to look at maybe inlaying that so I can do more of like a medallion in the bottom of a bowl, or in the mortise after you turn it or something, instead of like a maker coin or something that somebody would do. Look at doing something else with that resin crete instead of that. But yeah, there's the leftover of what's now a I don't know, a little thing to hold keys and something by the door. So I have about 15 more of those that are this size. So
M&Ms.
Hey, Todd.
Yes.
Hold up that crescent shape again. No. Okay. Keep that in your hand. Now bring the other. Okay. Now turn it around. Put that in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Okay, now turn your left pinky
Turn
up.
it like a moon.
How about make it like a crescent moon?
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Then hang it on
There's
some
a
fishing
project
line.
right there. Now make a base.
Okay.
I like it.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
Oh, yes.
Thanks,
Thank
Al.
you.
All right. Let's go see Professor Rowe. Hey, Doug.
Hey. So I'm working on schoolwork right now, not out in the shop, but I made a couple of vases. These are both made out of tree branches, so they're, I guess, spindle turned, if you will.
Pretty.
Nice.
Nice, Doug.
And then I made a little bit bigger one.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
One of those watch out for your hand type.
Yeah.
You did a little of
I
that
still
one
have
on
all
Facebook,
fingers.
didn't you?
It worked out.
No band-aids. Nice.
Is that the one you were doing on Facebook, Doug?
I think I did both of these on
TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok.
Okay.
It's hard to see in there, but I did like swoop that out a little bit so it's fatter on the inside. I didn't get it quite as thin as I wanted to because my tool kept bumping the wings up here. I couldn't quite get the angle I wanted to, and then frustration took over, so I said I'm done.
Beautiful.
But that's all I've got tonight. I'm a little under the weather.
All right,
Well,
Doug,
get
good to
better.
see you.
Get well.
Feel better, buddy.
Get back to work now.
All righty.
All right, let's go see Mr. Duxbury. Hey, Jim.
Please. I bet he talked about back scratchers. And it just came out. I just got my copy of Wood Turning Magazine, so this just came out in it. Okay.
Ready.
Very nice, Jim.
Scratches your
Nice,
itch.
and looks pretty.
We make a bunch of those. And Valentine's Day is coming up, so we've got some Valentine's. Let me get this open. My wife turned these first ones.
Nice.
These are about an inch thick.
Nice.
We've got
Those
a
are
bunch
pretty.
of them. In fact, Joaquin tells me these will be in the newsletter, and how to make them and whatever.
Good. Yeah.
That's the back of them.
Mhm.
We make a bunch of these. She does some artwork on them. I don't do artwork. This is one I turned. I just turned this today.
Wow.
It's about a 1/4 inch thick. At the top is sculpted like a heart. There's no way to take a picture of this thing and get it right.
Really pretty.
It's
Yeah, it is pretty.
That's the bottom. You can't really see it in the picture, but My wife burns the edges around the top too to accent it. It's cut with one of those little saber saws, I think from Harbor Freight or something. An air operated saber saw. They're great to scroll, cut all kinds of things. That's it for me.
Those are pretty.
Thank you.
Very nice, Jim.
Thank you.
Right. Let's see, what time is it? 5:55. All right, let's go. Let's swing back to Captain Eddie, and then we'll get started with our demo by Scott Hampton here at the top of the hour. So let's see what Captain Eddie's been thinking about all this gallery.
Well, we got some great stuff. And Jim, it was really nice to see that work by Rita. It's, you know, Valentine's is close, folks. Got about 2 weeks from yesterday. Yeah, I keep track of it. It's my wedding anniversary. And she hasn't let me take her shopping yet. No, but it's time to get things done for the family. And earlier tonight, we saw some folks say, and I'm terrible with names, and I apologize for that. But the birds were back out. And remember, Easter's coming up, and you're going to have some celebrations with the kiddies and all. Did you think about rabbits? We've seen birds. We've seen a couple other things, but and snowmen for Christmas ornaments, but think about rabbits. And maybe that's a little something you should think about playing around with before Easter gets here. You have a couple of weeks to do that, like 6 weeks. And we're looking forward to some changes in what we are looking at. Yes. Now, on the front page of newsletter number 2, we gave you some goals or some items we're going to be looking at in 2024. And every month we seem to do a little bit of a twisting in where we're going and what's going on. In February, we were going to look at some sweetie things and what you could make for your sweetie. That could be just about anything. And you got to take care of the little sweeties, the older sweeties, and the dear sweeties all at the same time. So when you're out in the shop playing around, consider that every little piece of wood could be a trinket, could be a little something special. And we saw it. Dane turned the box. That's a nice, simple little cherry box, and he had a little insert on it. When you opened it up, it was dark on the inside. He did a flat color finish on it. I did some ring boxes for a very high-end jewelry store here a long time ago. And the thing was, the inside had to be dark. And then we did a piece of very high quality plush fabric for the ring to set into. And I said, do we put color? And the jeweler, an old friend of mine, said, no, the sparkle in there is going to be the jewelry. Don't add sparkle inside of a jewelry box. You'll take away from the real sparkle. Yep. And it's right. I made dozens of those boxes for him. I only stopped because it was a family-owned business, and his kids wanted to overprice what I'd put in there, and it wasn't a business thing. I was doing it for him, and Don was doing it for special customers, and he'd say, I got this, and let's put it in this, and the kids bringing the business up said, we can't give those away. We should charge that for that. The dollar got in the way. So if you're doing something sweet and kind, remember, every time you look in a box, there should be a little something sparkly in there. Cindy Drozda always said that when you do a box or something with a lid on it, when you lift the lid, look on the inside. She'd put a jewel or something in the lid to give a little surprise, a little sparkle, something. Friday, Cindy's got one of her and Todd, somebody else has gotten together. They got an IRD with Cindy on Friday. It's free. It's one of her free programs. And if you're interested in it, turn it in. We always like to share information like that because this is the sharing place. If you have something like that coming up, put it in the chat. Go to the chat right now, put it in there. I have an IRD and yada, 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 all that stuff. If there's a function or an organization or a meeting or a symposium or a gathering involving woodturners or wood turning, we want to know about it. We don't have those limits to say if it's, I worked in broadcast news and production for a couple of years. And the thing was, I could never talk about something that was going to happen on the other channel. Never. I worked for WWL New Orleans, one of the biggest in the nation. And the rule was I could never mention anything happening on somebody else's station because I could perhaps send business their way. Well, we're not like that. We're not that picky. We want to share information and tell you where to go and let you make the decisions. And that's what we like. So give us your input, put it in there, bring it to us. And especially for our newsletter, we get a lot of comments about that newsletter, folks. Issue number 3 is out today. It'll be posted as soon as Dave gets past some little technical problems he's got. Dave's been calling Radio Shack all day long about his computer acting up. He's not getting a call back. But Dave's going to get it up to speed and get the 3rd newsletter in the series up on the site so you can have it and share it. Now, in that newsletter, there should be, and I didn't read it all yet, there should be directions on how you can break it down from the PDF, it's a portable file, to something like JPEG, so you can break out sheets of it, simple, and add it to an email or your website or send the pages to your friends or share it. And remember, our newsletter is created just for that, to be shared. It's not secret. We want you to get that thing out there. We want everybody to know about it. Why? We've got 109 people live with us right this moment. And those folks have got at least that many friends. And we want everybody to know about this and jump on board. It's part of the program we developed. And this whole thing was developed because we're sitting on a tailgate out in the parking lot. Remember that? We're all sitting on a tailgate out in the parking lot. We're telling lies and stories and sharing the ideas. And every once in a while, somebody pulls up something from back and says, hey, have you seen this? You know how I did it? It's such and such. And I did this with what? Little gizmos and gadgets. March 13th is a gizmo and gadget program. If you got a secret, we want to know about it. March 13th. That's it. And we always want to be safe. To do that, do we have our safety director with us tonight?
No, she is recovering from cataract surgery today. She called me. She's recovering. She's doing well, but she's not able to join us for the obvious reasons. But she's doing well, and she says hello to everybody.
Hello, Sue. Hope you're feeling better, dear. Sue's Sue is just like everybody else that's in this group, folks. There's no hierarchy. There's no, whoa, I got to go check with this guy, check with that. We don't check with anybody. If it's good for wood turning, we do it. This whole program was created, and a lot of the original members are sitting right here tonight. I see them. I see their names popping up. These are the folks I emailed 4.5 years ago, 226 weeks ago or so. I emailed them and said, can this thing click? And they said, oh yeah, it can click. And we're clicking and clicking and clicking. And Sue does our volunteer safety work. And in essence, if you see something that's unsafe in this meeting, you see something that happens that's not right, I'd like to hear about it right then and there. Yes, we don't hesitate. We don't hold back. It's not like, oh, I shouldn't say anything. He's a professional turner. He might be a professional idiot who just happens to be.
Just been doing it wrong for 30 years, you know?
Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want, it would be very criminal, and I'm talking criminal in here, be very criminal for me to teach you how to do something wrong and get you hurt. That would be criminal. So that's my thing is this. I don't care how good you think you are. If I think you're going to get somebody hurt, I'm going to throw the brakes on. If we don't show it, we don't show it. If you don't see it, you don't see it. But if it could get you hurt, it ain't gonna work. We want to show you the right way to do things, or the safe way to do things. So when you get out in the shop this week, remember, we'd like you to come out of the shop happier than when you went in. And that means, like Brenda, no Band-Aids. Brenda's part of that, no Band-Aids. And we joke, I mean, look, Doug Rowe tonight said, look, I turned this thing with all these wings flipping out and all that stuff, and no Band-Aids, no Band-Aids. And Doug's one of the founding members. And he understands that. So when you get out this week, be safe. And when we do our demonstrations with folks, we get a backup phone number for the people. I mean, if I have Bob doing a demonstration tonight, I have another way, another contact to get a hold of Bob if we see that something's going wrong and Bob may be by himself, or if he gets in trouble and we're watching. It's like we are another set of eyes in Bob's shop. And that's why we're here. We're friends. We're sitting on a tailgate. And what would you do if you're sitting on a tailgate and your friend's going to get hurt or gets hurt? You're going to do something about it. That's what Worldwide Woodturners does. We don't sit back and go, oh my God, maybe I should or maybe I shouldn't. No, we move. And that's what this is all about. I hope you're having a great time tonight, folks. And we got a good demonstration. Who's on deck?
Well, we've got Mr. Hampton.
Really?
This is no good at all.
Man, this is going to be a crappy demo. I hope you guys know.
Oh, man.
Love it.
I'm sitting in my living room with a squatter over my shoulder.
Hey, real quick, Scott, let me mute everybody, and then you need to unmute yourself, all right?
All right, there we go.
Thank you.
So I do have a squatter sitting behind me.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Everybody knows who that guy is, maybe. He won't leave. He keeps telling me the only way to get rid of him is to evict him. So what are you going to do, right? At least he's not sitting in my comfy chair that's behind me there.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, I'm a bit under the weather. I was going to do this as a live demo, but I do have a video of the same project, which I will be showing. It's about an hour long, and it's how to make a beehive box. It's a fun project. I'm going to show how to make several different size beads by hand. No, I'm not using a bead turning tool or anything like that, just a spindle gouge. That's how I learned how to make them a long time ago, and that's the way I still do it. So let me, a couple more things. This video was a recording of a live demo I gave on YouTube a year and a half ago. So if it sounds like I'm talking to you, it's actually I'm talking to people that were on YouTube. And if I answer a question, it's because they asked a question in the chat box on YouTube. So sometimes it's going to seem a little weird that I'm talking to you, but I'm actually not talking to you. And also, please save your questions until after the video, because I have to switch my audio over so you guys can hear the audio of the video. So my mic won't be on. So let me share my screen here. First, I'm going to switch the audio. So I'll see you on the back end there, and I'll get the video going.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Welcome to the all-day virtual craft festival. It's been a long day, a lot of great crafters. I hope you guys all had a really good time, and we've got one more person after me. That'd be Carl Jacobs. Always does a great demo, so we don't want to miss that one. So today, I am going to make a beehive box. Something along this lines. This one's kind of a dud. There's a practice piece though, so I'm not too worried about it. So we got some bright lights in here today. Let's see if that helps. There we go. Oh, and we've got the inside, of course, a little bit of texturing on the inside, some texturing on the bottom. We're going to go through all that. Let's get on it. I'm going to grab me a roughing gouge here. And that's a good view right there. I'm just going to rough this piece down real quick. I tend to turn a little fast. So we got it at about 1800 RPMs thereabouts. So I want to start on the inside and work my way out with the roughing gouge. And we're just going to turn it around to get the basic shape going here. Looks like we're almost there, almost. This is a piece of sugar pine out of the Sierra Nevada mountains. There's the Sequoia National Park. It's taken out of the national forest, actually. It's all reclaimed lumber. These pieces come from trees that have fallen down up there. Yeah, oh, I got an alarm going off. That means I started just a little early. Alexa, turn off the alarm. Thank you. But that'll give me more time to maybe make that magic wand after all. So let's have a look, see where we're at. And we're almost round. As we can see, we're get some of that rest of that off of there, clean that, get to the clean part of the wood. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the chat while I do this. Also, I'll stop every now and again, take a look, see if there's any questions. So I'll do right now. Let's see here. Yeah, okay, no questions yet, but this is all basic wood turning stuff pretty much. All right. So what I want to do now is I'm just going to true up the ends real quick with a parting tool. And then I'm going to do the general shaping with the large parting tool. I want to make a tenon at this end, but I'm going to true up the end first. I'm going to grab me my calipers that I set earlier. I'm just going to see where we're at here. And once this falls over, I'll know it's the right size for my chuck jaws. There we go. That's what we needed there. Yeah, I'm going to switch cameras here, maybe get a whole different view. I got alarms going off everywhere, don't I? I didn't want to mess up and miss the start time. So just one more half a cut of the width of the parting tool here. Make sure we have a good tenon going. Since I'm using a Talon jaws or a Talon chuck, I need a straight tenon and not a dovetail tenon. Now I'm just creating a nice sharp flat area right here with a sharp corner. And we are there. So now I want to do is just start general shaping of the piece. So this is going to be the, you know what, I'm going to turn it around, put it in those jaws while I'm at it, while I'm thinking about this. So I'm just going to true up this end real quick first. There we go. I need to pop this out of the chuck. Now's a good time to ask any questions yet. Nope. No questions. And I'm going to switch my glasses real quick. I do have my safety readers on, and I prefer to wear my actual safety glasses. go. Get my spur drive out of here. That's in my truck. That's perfect. Up there, we don't want the 10 in the bottom out in the bottom of the jaws, or it's not going to seat nice and tight against the jaws right here. We need really nice contact right here all the way around. And because this pine is a little soft, I need to give it a couple.
If you could do that.
Scott, are you muted?
Hey, Scott, is your sound still okay?
And work our way to a spindle gouge. I might tilt stop just a little further back. And to create this shape, I do need to drop my tool rest down just a little bit. There we go. Well, we're not going to use this whole thing for the box. I'm just going to grab a pencil. I'm going to mark it using my other pre-made one here. Just giving you an idea how deep we're actually going to go. And just leave a little room for play right there. And grab me my parting tool again. Just mark that where I don't go beyond this area here. A little ways. It'll also give me room to work with around this for the shaping. Don't want to go any further than that. Everybody knows kind of basically what a beehive kind of looks like. All right, so that's about as far as I can go with the big roughing gouge. I'm going to grab me my smaller one here. It's going to keep on shaping down on this side too. Kind of give me an idea of what I'm looking for here before I start making any beads and marking up where I want the lid to be. All right, so now I need to readjust my tool rest, bring it around here so I can get rid of this part up on the top. Gonna smooth it over. Let's see if I can get a better picture of that here. So you guys can see what I'm doing there. There we go. Now I need to lower my tool rest just a little bit more here for this tool. I did leave kind of a groove in the top, so we want to get rid of that. And now that I got that part done, I could finish up the shaping here, so I got a pretty good idea of what the dome top looks like. It looks like a light bulb at this point, but we want just nothing but roundness on this. I think I got a pretty good shape going here now. So I'm just going to do a cleanup real quick. It's kind of nice, gentle cuts, and I'm going to sand it with 120 real quick just to get rid of any tool marks. Any dips and bumps that might have shown up there in the using the roughing gouge here. So this 120 will really do a really quick job on this. On this pine here, it's a fairly soft but very nice pine. It doesn't have a lot of resin in it, which is why I like it so much. It's got nice grain in it too. Ah, what made me decide on this project? Summertime. Summertime is always a good time. You see the bees out. Springtime, summertime. All right, so we got a good shape going there. So I'm grabbing my parting tool one more time and just mark where I want this to bottom out. Just a slight mark, not too deep, because I still need to hollow this out. Give me an idea where I want those beads to end. All right. Now this is going to be the fun part. I don't generally, I don't even own one. I don't use the easy beaters or things like that. I like to do my beads by hand, just with a simple parting tool. So I'm going to start it towards the bottom there and work my way towards the top. I almost forgot one step though. I need to figure out where I need to put that. I need to part it off for the box here. So it's 3 inches. So I'm going to do it like about 2 inches there. This is basically the tenon that's going to go inside the box. I'm just going to make it kind of deep. There we go. And one more slight little cut there, and then I'll part it off with my thin parting tool when it comes time to do that portion of the piece. So I'm going to start at the bottom here, and I'm just going to start rolling beads by having my tool straight up and down. I need to adjust my tool rest just a little bit down here. And what I do is I just do a simple, I get the bead bevel rubbing, bring the tool handle up.
Like the video is froze.
Then I just do a simple twist and a just like that. And I'm just going to continue that. You said the video froze? Oh, it's still running on my end. Anybody else have that problem?
No, it's frozen.
Well, I paused this so I could talk. But I'll get it going again. Hold on a second. All the way down. I'm not trying to make each bead exactly the same. You've seen beehives. Towards the middle, the beads get a little bit bigger. And then they kind of shrink towards top, again towards the top here. And I need to adjust my tool rest around. No, I can just work on this part first. So I need to do the opposite direction. Same kind of cut, just different direction here. Get the so light cuts here. Start in the middle of that bead there. And you can see those beads forming pretty good. And if you're not happy with them, sandpaper can clean that, make them a little bit rounder. I'm going to stop and see if there's any more questions. You have a preference on tool brands? Well, this one is a Henry Taylor spindle gouge. It's the M42 type of steel. I like Thompson. I started out using Sorbies, and I've still got some of those left, but I've kind of grind most of those away, and so I've been replacing them with more better steel type of tools. All right, so we're going to start up here again. Oh, that's too low. All right. So this is a little different because we're making beads on a curve. So you got to take that into account here. So we'll have to adjust the tool rest every now and again. So you need to make smaller beads here. I'll probably grab me a smaller spindle gouge as I work my way towards the top. And I have one right here. There it is. This is the old Glazer. Yep. Very old. What is this? Yeah. An old Glazer tool. Pretty cool. Huh? It's made in Portland, Oregon, 2007. I like these old type of tools. I need to raise my tool rest because this is a smaller tool here. Go. Same type of thing. We need to, I'm way too high now. Same thing. We're just going to raise the tool rest up and do that kind of a dip in there. Then we got to work our way around. Gonna make the beads a little smaller as we get towards the center. Yeah, we need to adjust it one more time down. That way we're cutting that bead right on the center here. So we just need to come back and adjust these, just nice little. All right, this has already lost its edge. I'm gonna grab me a different spindle gouge. Oh, I can't believe that one already lost its edge. But all right. So let's try this one here. It's too small. I'm just gonna go back to my big spindle gouge here. That's working better. So I just need to work my way back around. Oh. Bring my tool rest back around that way. Kind of opposite turns here. And what I want to do is try to adjust this bead to where it matches this one down here. So when the box is closed, they'll line up. So this one's a little bit big, so we're just gonna take this down a little bit here. I'm just bending over and having a look. Ease that corner off there a little bit. Bring that corner back around this way. There we go. All right, we pretty much got that matched up. So I'm just gonna come in with that same sanding. It's the sanding paper 120. Which side of the bead is more difficult? Depends on if you're left-handed or right-handed. If you're right-handed, going towards the headstock, it's a little more difficult. If you're left-handed, the right turns are a little more difficult on you. It's a good question, though. Let me turn that up just a little bit. This just helps you round over the beads. Yeah. Want nice curves on these. So get rid of any pull marks that might have been left behind. When it comes to making beads, sandpaper is your friend, at least for me. As you can see, if I was to use like one of those easy wood type of beads, all these beads would have been pretty much kind of like the same size. It would have been more machine made. And so I kind of tend to stay away from those a little bit. All right, so got some nice beads there. So I'm just going to come in with my point tool and I'm just going to create a little bit of a deeper area here, just to kind of define these beads a little bit more. I left a line in there, so I need to come back with my sandpaper and touch that up. There we go. This just helps deepen the grooves. All right. So what I like to sometimes do, but I can't do it in here. I don't have a piece of formica. Sometimes I'll get a thin piece of wood or formica and I will burn lines in between all these grooves, but I don't have any on hand right now. So we're just gonna leave it at that. So what I want to do now is I'm going to grab me my small parting tool. Well, first I want to there's kind of a little bit of a groove on this tenon. And I also want to make sure it's good and parallel. I'm just going to glance down there. And so we can go a little bit deeper now. Now that we have these two beads that look like they're going to line up when the boxes together. I'm going to grab you my very thin parting tool here, and I'm going to part the lid off. All right, so that's deep enough to where I can just twist that off now. There we go. So what I need to do now is I just need to measure this tenon so I make the opening right. So I'm going to grab my calipers here. Slide some of these tools out of the way. What I want to do is just measure these here. Measure that tenon. Go. It's good. We'll lock that down. Put that over here for now. Swing my tool rest around. And I'm just going to create a mark using my calipers. Just going to bring it up just gently right on. And I'm just going to make sure this point touches the wood. This point does not. So you don't want these things flying back at you, that's for sure. I'm going to turn down the speed a little bit here. We don't need to do this at a high rate of speed. So I like to start on the inside, work my way out till I get the right line going here. Just a little bit more out. All right, we are lined up. And we'll creep up on that when we're hollowing the inside. So for this, I'm going to put the post right under the center of the center of the wood. That way when I'm drilling a hole with my spindle gouge, I got the most support out of my tool rest. So we just need to speed this up again. I need to get rid of a little too fast there. We get rid of this little nubbin here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring my tool in sort of like at 45 degrees. And I can just do some peeling cuts. Just instead of going in, I'm coming out, because going in, I'll be fighting in grain. And I'm just going to get you guys a better view of this. There we go. That's a good view, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to bring this out just like this. And I'm just going to adjust that camera around just a little bit. Just get a better, maybe a better angle. So I just push the tool in at 45 degrees, kind of like a drill bit. Then I bring the tool out. Okay, so it's kind of hopping and jumping. So it's time to get me a scraper here. Because once you go so far at the overhang, the tool can get a little jumpy. So I'm just going to grab me a easy wood tool with a round carbide bit on it. And I'm going to need to bring my tailstock a little further back since the handle's hitting. There we go. Straight in, straight on the hit center there. And I'm trying to remember to match the shape of the inside for the outside here. I find with the easy wood tools, I can actually go in and out both directions without very much difficulty. Okay, so we're almost there. So I want to stop here. And I'm going to grab me my box scraper and just put a straight parallel cut right into the side here. Going in straight, tools. I gotta move my tail center out of my. Just kind of a cumbersome thing having it right there. All right. So I need to lift the handle just a little bit. Need to raise the tool rest a little bit because this is a scraper. So it needs to be a little bit above center. And here we go. And now I want to check the fit of the lid. And we are almost there. Just about. Now, this part is going to be the fun part, because I like to texture the inside. And a little detail to the inside there. So I'm right on the end line there. So hopefully I didn't go too small. It might be a little loose, but that's all right if it is. You don't need to worry about using this as a jam chuck. Ooh. Wow, just, oh man. Wow, just, it's one of those things where it's like, do I dare to go any further? But I have to, because it's not quite going on. So just a very slight. So this box cutter is got an angle on this end too, with a burr along the edge. So I can bring it in at a slight tilt, not 45 degrees, but this will let me to take some very light straight cuts. Okay. Oop. Oh. You got a pop fit there. See? Yeah. So I don't like it when it's quite that tight. I don't like when you pull a box lid off and everything goes flying out because it's just a little too tight. The reason why I don't want to sand it, because that can actually mess up this cut. It can actually create a thicker area on one part and a thinner area along here. And when you twist the lid, it could get, actually, when you turn it like this, if you use sandpaper, you won't be able to turn it like that because it'll actually jam on, loosen, jam on, almost like it's threaded. We got a good fit there though, just like that. Okay, so we need to adjust that size of that bead right there. So I'm going to grab me my spindle gouge and adjust that right now. I'm going to pull the lid off. Where are you? There we go. Just needs a little bit of tweaking here. Too low. Need to bring it up. Is there any questions? It's like everybody's having a good time chatting. That's great. So I'm just going to kind of make this bead a little smaller. We can touch it with the sandpaper again just to clean it up. That's much better. All right, so we got pretty equal beads all the way around. This one's a little bit bigger than this one, but that's how nature is. It's never exact. So we're just going to clean up this face here. I also like to soften this just a little bit right here on the corner. That way when a lot of the use of the pulling and putting the lid back on and off, if this is a little soft, it won't tend to crack the wood as much. If it's like a really hard surface, sharp corner right there, and you keep popping it on, off, on, it can cause a stress crack in there. So I found out. So what time are we? Okay, we're doing good. All right, so I'm just going to part this off. So grab me my parting tool here. And then we're going to hollow the lid here in just a second. And when I'm doing this parting tool, I'm doing kind of a slight undercut to allow the box to sit flat on the table or just around the edges here. And I'm going to touch that corner up with this. So there's kind of a sharpness to that. And I'm just going to look over the beads one more time just to see if there's any more tool marks left. Doesn't look like it. All right. Nice and gently. We don't want this thing flying off at us here. And we are going to reverse so we can clean up the bottom in a minute here. Because we do need to get rid of that little nubbin right there. All right. So what we want to do now is we'll just clean this up. We'll make this it's going to be too small for, it might work as a jam chuck. If we can get that rounded over here. Just so I can clean up the bottom there. Sometimes I use my pin jaws just to stick in there, but I'm just going to try to do this real quick. Need to get rid of that little nubbin on the end there. These things always drive me crazy. All right. And I just want to check one more time to make sure this will create a I'll go down inside there. Maybe, maybe not. Give it a. We'll try a little bit here. If not, I'll use my pin jaws. Trying to match the curve on the inside of the box here. Hopefully this will jam right onto it. Okay. Yeah. Almost there. It's rubbing right that spot right there. So we just need to clean that up a little bit. Kind of left the mark when I was rubbing it on the wood. Give me an idea what to aim for here. Almost. Famous last words of a wood turner. Almost. See if we can get that on there good and tight here. Feels like it's on there pretty good, actually. I just don't want it to fly off in the middle of my demonstration here. That wouldn't be a good thing. Get it on there really well. And we'll see what happens here. I just barely need to clean this up. So if it pops off, well, everything will be fine. It's a small piece. It's not going to cause any damage if it does come off. So I'm just going to do some cuts towards the headstock. So if I go towards the side, it will tend to pull the piece off the jam chuck here. So I'm just going to clean this up. Yeah, still got that little nub in there. I want to get rid of that. There we go. Kind of a divot right there, but that's fine because I'm going to take an elf tool. I'm just going to create some texture on the bottom. That's the elf tool, you might ask. Well, it's one of these little boogers. It's just a carbide little cutter with it's got a bearing right there and a rare earth magnet in the bottom to help hold it in place. And you can do all kinds of designs with these. These are just really great here. So I'm just going to see if I can get a floret going here right in the center. This is soft wood, so it tends to cut this really well here. We're going to stop there. It did get a kind of a design right there. That looks nice. So I'm going to grab me my little point tool and just help highlight that. And when I put oil on it, these kind of texture marks will show up. They'll create shadow lines. And just to highlight that there. Almost like I did that little divot on purpose. All right, so we got a nice bottom going there. So when you pop this off, grab my key here. Now the good thing about these little beads I have on here, if I can get a different overhead shot here. You guys can't see that either. Okay. So I can use these beads if I open up my jaws far enough, and the jaws will just rest right there, which will allow me to do the inside of the box. See if I, yeah, see right there. Yeah. Just snug it up. It doesn't need, this is soft wood, so it doesn't need to be like, oh my gosh, it's crazy breakneck stuff here. All right, so we got a good view of that. What time is it? Okay, we're at 4:36. We're doing good. We're doing good, folks. All right. So I'm going to use my parting tool to create steps going towards the inside there. So I want to make sure it's going to be cutting on center. And I got the tool right there. Yep, that's a good height for my tool rest. I'm going to turn up my lathe. It's a little too fast. About, for those of you who are interested, I'm about 1900 RPMs there. So I'm just going to start here on the side here. Just go straight in. And then each subsequent step just goes a little bit deeper. And one more. And then I'll flatten out the rest of it. So I can create another texture on the bottom of this part. So I need to lower my tool rest just a hair to get that part out. And we're not quite at the right angle for the center part here. Just gonna cut it right down the middle there. So it's like a bee stinger, huh? I thought I did that on purpose. I'm going to tilt my tool rest or my parting tool with just a slight angle so I can get rid of that nubbin on the bottom there. I come up from the bottom. I'm at the wrong camera. Sorry about that. There we go. There. So I just
only on a demo.
Nubbin that's in the bottom, so I'm just going to come in with my little spindle gouge here and just clean that up. Get that rid of that. There we go. And I'm just going to touch it with a small piece of sandpaper. Move this back out of the way. Just clean that up real quick. There we go. Now I can bring the elf tool into this part and create sort of the same type of design. And then we got a nice design in there. You guys can see those steps I was creating there. So I'm gonna grab me my sandpaper again, fold it into thirds. Just kind of clean up those steps a little bit. I want to move my tool rest out of the way. So just going to bring this in, just touch corners here. Clean up any tear out that parting tool might have left behind. And I'll probably grab that point tool, highlight that center part. Self tool cut, so it's about right. Right. That area. All right, so I just keep an eye on it when I switch on the lathe. Doesn't need to go very deep. There we go. Yeah, it looks like we're just about done with this project. All right. Almost. There's a little added thing we need to do to this beehive to make it look like a beehive. More so than it already does. All right. So as you can see, we've got nice looking beehive there, but there's something missing. Bet you guys are already ahead of me on this one. So let me grab something here. All right. And go to the overhead so you guys see what I'm doing here. What am I talking about? Bag of bees. We need to toss them out. We need to get a good piece of, probably 180 will work. You need to scratch up the bottoms of these because they're so smooth. There's no teeth for the glue to grab hold of. See, this one, I just scratch the bottom. Just enough to, doesn't take much. It's just enough to create some tooth on the bottom of these for the glue to adhere to. There's a couple of small ones here. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have time to do a magic wand this time around, but might be able to do it next time. Let's see. Bees are missing. That's right. The bees are missing, but I've got that covered. So I need to grab me a roll of paper towel so this thing doesn't roll around on me here. Oh, I'll use these. These will work really well. Just kind of helps hold the pieces together. Like this one right here, so it doesn't roll around while we put bees on it. Because you add some bees and then you gotta let them sit for a little while before you go to the next section. This is just simple, this simple clear tacky glue you can get at most hobby shops or craft stores like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. They sell it. And we're just gonna stick that little guy right on there. This is extra tacky, so you can let go of it pretty quickly. Which one did I scratch here? I'm looking for one I scratched. There's one. So we need a little bee next to his buddy here. Come on, glue. And we can just kind of stick them on there. You can roll it a little bit. We can put a smaller bee maybe on the lid here. So we're just going to stick that right on here. Put him on top. There we go. Just stick him on there like that. These tend to stay pretty well with this type of glue.
Using Rogaine there, Scott?
It tacks up really quick. And we can just roll this around and maybe put a bigger bee on this side here. I always forget I need to leave this thing upside down so the glue doesn't change on me. Go back into the bottle. This guy's a little bit bigger, so I got to hold him for a minute. There we go. And So we kind of got, see if I can hold this guy up. You guys can see that. Got ourselves a beehive box.
It's beautiful. That's awesome. I love it.
That's a nice
Like
idea. That's a nice idea, Scott. Really.
And
Nice.
I'll keep working on it. And this is a resin bees, so I can put any finish I want over it. I can put a spray over it. I can put oil on them. It's not going to affect them at all once the glue is dry. All right, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
Hey, that was a great demo.
All right, now for the encore.
Yeah.
Very nice job, Scott.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah, it looked good.
Mm-hmm.
So we got one more add-on here.
And I think it's, oh man, 10 minutes. I don't know if I can I can shove all this stuff out of the way and make a magic wand for you guys really quick. I've got 10 minutes. Let me slide this out of here.
Use your magic.
We'll give it a whirl. And if I run out of time, then save it for next time. But I need to change my chuck out. What do you guys think? Magic wand?
Magic wand, yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate the compliments on the beehive. I really like making them. It's a fun project and not too difficult to make. Don't forget Carl's coming up. Don't want to forget about Carl. He's the last demonstrator of the day. I'm sure he's got something pretty good, something really cool planned for us. So this is just a 1.5 inch dowel rod here. I'm putting in some pin jaws. And I'll zoom out on my camera in a second here so you guys can see the whole thing here. All right, here we go. Let's zoom out. Oh, wrong direction. Oh, too close. There we go. And I need to put my larger pull rest on here. And I'll bring the tailstock up a second here. Oh, bouncing cameras all over the place. I'm just going to try to center this up as close as I can, just eyeball it. Can't remember how long this thing is as far as measurement goes. How long of this is a 15-inch long piece of dowel. It's 1.5 inches in diameter. Thank you. I appreciate the comments. Really appreciate that. So we're going to grab a pencil here and determine how big of a handle we need. So if I was to grab it myself, right about all right, so here. So I'm just gonna that'll use a twin step there. Oops, design dot. All right, here we go. Let's zoom out. Oh, wrong direction. Oh, too close. There we go. And I need to put my larger pull rest on here. And I'll bring the tailstock up a second here. Oh, bouncing cameras all over the place. I'm just going to try to center this up as close as I can, just eyeball it. Can't remember how long this thing is as far as measurement goes. How long of This is a 15-inch long piece of dowel. It's 1.5 inches in diameter. Thank you. I appreciate the comments. Really appreciate that. So we're going to grab a pencil here and determine how big of a handle we need. So if I was to grab it myself, right about there, it's probably a good place to put a bead for the handle. So it is out of not running really true, so I'm just going to adjust that a little bit here. One more time. Get a little closer. Famous last words, huh? A little too much. Well, I'll just true it up. As long as it's in between centers and tightening the jaws, it'll be fine. All right. Let's grab my roughing gouge. I'm just going to true up the ends here. See how it's wobbling just a little bit. Going to be taking all this away anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it's running out of true a little bit. Now I'll remark that in a second here. All right, we'll put that mark back on there. It's more of a production turning of a wand, I guess you could call it. I'm just going to kind of make it a taper at both ends here. You're going to come back here and do the same thing, coming. Uphill cut. Grabbing my smaller roughing out gouge here to finish this off. All right, 8 minutes. Can I do it? Kind of a taper coming out of the handle there. Kind of a cove right here. It's still a little too thick for a magic wand, so I'm going to take this down real quick. There we go. It's a little bit better. Kind of a long taper into a cove right here. Kind of ease the cuts a little bit better there. And I'm just going to kind of thin it out as I go towards the top. we're gonna take all of this out in a second here. We're just kind of getting the general shape in that we want. All right, got me a spindle gouge here. Kind of make a slight P at the end here. Just kind of. My small roughing gouge again, just to clean that up. All right, don't worry, Carl. I'll get it done before you start. All right, need a bead right here, a handle. Oop. Now, generally, I would have sanded this already. Not my best one, but hey, not bad for 10 minutes, right? Not sure how many people are still watching. Let's take a look, see here. We got 35 people watching, yeah. Everybody's gonna go talk, see. Oh, knew it. Messed that up on the end there, but I didn't need to worry about that. Everybody's gonna go see Carl, which I don't blame them, that's fine. I just need to cut both ends off here. Three minutes. Ah! Almost where it's cut off. I'll clean that up a little bit. I had time to kill, so why not make it a wand, right? Yeah. All right. We're gonna grab me my parting tool, and we're just gonna part this puppy right off of here. Kind of. 5 o'clock. There it goes. Got us a. We got us our. Kind of a real quick magic wand there. What the heck? Why not? All righty. There you go.
Great demo, Scott. Enjoyed that.
Thank you.
That was a great demo. Thank you very much.
Well, you're quite welcome.
Thank you very much for sharing.
I wish I could have done it live, but my neck and my hands aren't up to it.
Nice demo.
At least I had a video of it, right?
Yeah, definitely. When I was reading your message, initially I'm reading, I'm like, oh crap. Now I got a scamper for a fill in. Then you said I've got a video to play of it. So I was like, oh, whew, crisis averted. Well done. If anybody has any questions, comments about either of the demos, now is the time to ask them and get any clarification on anything that you had questions about. Going once, going twice.
All right, nothing. Okay. All right, let's get on with the rest of the meeting then.
All right, sounds good. All right.
Good job.
Let's go back to Captain Eddie and see what his thoughts were on this wonderful demo we had.
That was pretty, that was fun. Thank you, Scott. That was really fun. It was really cool. And I knew he was heading for those bees the whole time. So
yeah, me too.
Because I would be looking for something to toy around with that. You always got to add a little something to it. You know that, folks. And Scott's one of our volunteer demonstrators, folks. And everything you see here on Worldwide Woodturners are done by our membership. And they're done as volunteers, and we want to thank them all. And if you have an idea for a demonstration that you would like to perform, or you like to have performed on Worldwide Woodturners, all you have to do is contact us. You can get a hold of Dane directly, and you get that through our contact list. More on that in a moment. And we will line you up to do the demo or get a demo lined up for you. And talking about lined up for you, March 13th is our tips and tricks day. And that's when you're going to see a lot of the secrets that us woodturners keep in our shops that we believe are just ours and we need to share. Well, March 13th, we are there to share. And that's when we're going to all get together. And it's really a remarkable time because you'll get this and you'll go, man, why didn't I think of that? What happened there? Well, that's why we're doing this, to kind of refresh your brain. And suppose you missed that program. You didn't miss anything at Worldwide Woodturners because everything we do is recorded and stored on the world's greatest woodturning website. That's right. Dave Rose is our webmaster, our master webmaster. And he puts this, the chat, everything goes on our website, open to everybody at no cost. The nickel doesn't rule this club. Good common sense and a love of wood turning does rule this club. Now, how do you get a members list? Well, it's pretty easy. We don't have one. But we do have a contact list. And that's simple. You want to be on the list? Good. You go to our contact on our website, the greatest one in the world. And on there, it's when you hit contact, you'll see a thing that says member list. And then you fill out the form that comes up on the screen exactly as it asks. It'll tell you to uncheck a block, uncheck the block. Tell you to put in, put it in. Don't get flamboyant or anything else. The subject is Captain, C-A-P-T-A-I-N. That's capital C, A-P-T-A-I-N. Fill that out exactly. Mail it off. Then you have to be patient. It may take almost a moment for a response to come back from our server, giving you the contact list. And that's everybody else that wishes to be contacted. And they'll put their name, their address, their phone number, their website, whatever they want to share with you will be in that list. Oh, there's no format, there's no requirement, there's no-nos. It's not commercial, it's not for advertisement, but it's a way for somebody to find somebody, because you hear us talking, and like Dane said earlier, he was in on a meeting, the UK's meeting, or Clarkson's meeting in the GK in Great Britain earlier today, and they chit chat. Scott and them talk about ink and the finishes and how we get this and how we get that. Yeah, all these people have become friends through this meeting, through this organization, and they all contact via our contact list. So if you like a copy, that's how you go about it. Oh, we go through all this for one reason: robots. Yes, we all know the end is coming and robots are going to take over the world. But we did this, Dave Rhodes, our webmaster, did this, keep the robots from getting it. And if we put it out there, you know you'll get bombarded. You know you get those emails all day long. If you want to test it, go to Google, type in baby strollers, and then hold on tight, because your whole system's be bombarded with advertisements from baby strollers. And then explain that to your wife or your husband. Yeah. All right. So we try to work with these things. So if you want to be on our contact list, jump on there. Now we do gallery each week. That gives me an opportunity to see what you're up to. See, I never know what Scott Hampton's up to. And it scares me.
He doesn't either.
No, it doesn't it scare you sometimes that these things can just pop up? I mean,
Californians.
Hey, that's what I do. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Hey, my buddy's gone. You notice it? I took that magic wand and made him puff into he's a free floating gas in my room house. See?
Oh,
and he's from California,
Stinky
folks.
gas.
He believes that.
He's up there by that mountain.
Yeah, with that fresh flowing water and those green, never mind. All right.
Five-pointed leaf.
Yeah. But we do the gallery so I can see what you're up to. And so you can show me and share with me the ideas you come with and the details and the tricks and tips you come up with. Look what I can do. Look how I did this. Look, I can. Will we see some tonight? What Duxbury said, I turned this bowl and I can't figure out how to take a picture of it. Well, that's why we have the website and the website number one. This number one, website number two, the newsletter number three, and it keeps growing and growing and growing. But send us a photograph when we put it on newsletter and show folks what it looks like. But I can't take a picture of this. Yeah, well, that's why we have a gallery. I want to see what these things are, how you come about them. He talked about a little hand pneumatic scrolls cutting saw, like a little coping saw. I got one of those from Harbor Freight. It was so cool, but it was good for me when I did demos, and I was demonstrating for a crowd, a group. If they had a compressor and I had some air, is I could take the piece I turned and cut it and show the consistency of the turn for the thickness, the wall thickness, and where if I went down the outside of a piece and I got a little fat and came back in, it might not matter a lot. Well, wood's going to move. And if this can't move at the rate that can move and that can move, there's going to be a crack or a failure or a bubble or a burst or something goes wrong with the finish. And all that can be controlled by just understanding how your cutting goes. I know it's hard to explain that you cut something, then you cut it up. But sometimes that's where you're going to find your best work is just to take apart something you've turned. And we're looking for some ideas for the spring now. Each month we have a little different twist on what's happening. In February, we look for sweeties for the sweeties. And don't forget, Easter's coming up. You're going to spend a little time with your special ones in Easter. And I am looking to see what comes up with rabbits. Now, I threw that out. And this is the scary part of the job. I mean, I've just challenged Billy Burt and Matt Harbor and Duxbury, the three of them. I've challenged those three men those three turners, and I'm going to throw Ruby in there, but I think she checked out for the night. Rabbits. Now,
I bet Ruby already has rabbits.
Yeah, it's going to multiply, folks. You know the story about the rabbit. It's going to multiply.
I can't hold them in a check.
Yeah, you see on top, we are going to get in trouble over rabbits for Easter, and that's what I'm looking for. You turners are going to go out there. You're going to really surprise us,
Huh?
and you're going to come. But the fun thing is, it's not what you'll turn; it's what you'll come up with on how to turn them. I mean, that's the beauty of this. You will come up with unique ways to create items, to hold them, to turn them, to finish them, to make them move. Albert's going to have one that just walks. We know that's all coming. So we like to see what you come up with. Easter's only 6 weeks away or so, and gives you a little bit of time to get cranking up. And don't forget, we have our newsletter out there. Newsletter's available. It'll be on our website tomorrow. Dave Rose is working on a computer problem right now. He's on hold to Radio Shack customer service right now, trying to get that little computer. He's got that T80 working again. But we have the world's greatest website, and we have a newsletter out there. Issue number 3 is out. Share it with somebody. As soon as you get it, share it with somebody. Share it with your friends. Email it to the guys in your wood turning club. Print some copies and drop them around. Yeah, it's a great way to spread the word about Worldwide Wood Turners and explain to them all it's absolutely free. There's no admission price. There's no requirements. Well, there is one. You got to love wood turning. It's like we all do. So let's go back to gallery. We got about 35 minutes before I walk out, but y'all stay because after 9:00 p.m. Central Time, trouble happens right here. Because that's when all holes, well, not all holes are.
It's when the wheels come off.
That's when the wheels come. That's a good
Let
way
it
to
hair
put it.
down.
That's when the wheels
Those that
come
have
off.
hair.
And the bus slides into the ditch and the train hits it and all this stuff all at one time. But we're looking for gallery items. If you got something to show, put it in the chat. Say, I got something to show. We'll go right to you and see what happens. And just as I'm saying this, I see trouble in Texas coming on the horizon.
Eddie, did you want to talk about the program 22?
I totally forgot about that.
No, I didn't. I got you.
I got a note here and I covered it up. A while back, we did a project called 22 Pens. And 22 Pens is a special project. It's so special, it's heartbreaking. Every day we lose 22 veterans to suicide. Every day.
Yep.
And a lot of times this can be avoided if there was somebody that those folks could talk to or believe in. So if you would spin out 22 pins, give them to your local VA, contact us, we will get them to some troops. But keep a veteran in mind. Some of the fondest memories I have my entire life are times I had with my friends when I served. I mean, every day of my life, I remember something that either breaks my heart or rattles my cage or just makes me just chuckle and cry. It's just that, that was part of my life. If you're a veteran and you served, you know what it is. That was part of your life. And no matter where you are in this world, you have people protecting your freedom. But those people deserve something. They deserve your respect and your kindness. So with 22 pens, it's an important thing. And when we started Worldwide Wood Turners, I contacted, of the people I contacted, more than half were veterans because I came to contact them through videos I've done with my own business. And I have produced over 500 videos for YouTube and clubs and et cetera, et cetera. And I just found that I had a good working relationship with people of that world. because you don't care if it's good news or bad news. It was the truth, and you spoke the truth. So there's a link. There's something to be gained. I'm wandering around this, but hey, folks, it's sometimes it's just time to step up.
Yep.
And for all of us who did serve you, to me, sometimes I see things and I say, man, you know what? I don't know how stupid I was when I did that, but I did it. Or shake my head and say, how in the hell did I live through that? Or, other things. So take a minute out. So let's go back to gallery right now while I still have a little bit of common sense and enjoy it. Be safe this week, folks. Be safe.
And
Who's
we got
gallery? I see.
So we got one more possible program to gauge interest on. So let's go to Doug Miller, and he's gonna talk about bottomless bowls.
Yeah,
Doug,
bottomless bowls.
Yeah. Bob Grinstead mentioned a while ago the empty bowls, bottomless bowls. I've heard it called several things. And while Bob was talking about it, it just kind of struck me. We're bowl turners, most of us. Most of us turn bowls every day. Why don't we turn some bowls and either send them to Bob or take them to the local place in your community? I don't know anybody around here where I live that does that, but I've heard of the program several times. I'd be willing to make a couple or 3 or 4 bowls to send off. I've already got my pins pulled out to do for 22 pins. Why not do a couple of bowls while we're doing it? We had 110 at one point, maybe a couple more tonight.
112.
Okay, 112.
Yep.
If we sent 112 bowls to this charity for them to auction off, how much good could that do? Even if they sold for $20 a piece, 20 times 112, that's a couple of bucks. They could feed some children. Let's get on that, guys, and see what we can do. I'm gonna do some specifically for that, and I'm gonna challenge you to outdo me. How's that?
Sounds good. Can we do a write-up and send to Dave Rhodes, our Master Blaster webmaster, so we can put it on the web page? And then Bob
That and
Grinstead,
Joaquin both.
Grinstead, do you have any additional information you can share on the program? Bob.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm here. Not really, not a whole lot. It is a national organization. I mean, it's not just here in Texas.
Right.
It's all over the United States. It's just that you have a local chapter or maybe a local charity there that feeds people. And basically that's what this is. It's just an auction. They auction off these bowls. They have some type of a meeting and a dinner, and they pay $100 or something, or $150 for a plate, and then they come in and they auction off the bowls too. So it's a good organization. It's a good thing to send bowls to. It's just trying to help people in need.
Right. Can you work with Doug and the two of you brainstorm and come up with something to send to Dave? As I was saying earlier on, good synopsis of what it is and
Sure.
And some,
Absolutely.
a couple links, for the national organization. And then,
Yeah.
some of the, the big metros where we're at, I don't think we'd want to be mailing them off to one person and then,
No.
just going to one specific area. I think, if it's a national thing and in the big metropolitans, then that would be a great thing to do. So
Right.
Sure.
Yeah,
Give it to your local.
Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, just to give it to your local charity.
Right.
They can auction it off, but it doesn't need to be mailed to me or any specific person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just thinking when I said that a while ago, there's not any groups right here where I am, but Cincinnati's just up the road. Lexington's just down the road. Louisville's not that far away. Those 3 places surely have something I can look and see and try to get it out that way. But
right.
for those who who are not anywhere near a large city or larger city, you know, to send them to somebody who is, whether it's Bob or you, Dane, or
Yeah.
Eddie, or
Well,
whoever,
most
whoever
places
would be
have a
willing to
food
take some.
pantry, you know,
Right,
so,
right. They have
I mean,
something
it's,
that could take care of that. Yeah. So
Most of these, yeah, one other thing here, most of these, most of the groups try to have this by like the middle of April, or here it's April the 24th. That's when they have their dinner,
yeah.
have the auction. But they do it every year. It's not anything that you have to do, you know, just this year. But yeah, if you could get them in by before the end of say the end of March or the 1st of March.
Yeah,
Because
so I'm
they're
sure the
pricing the
national,
bowls, they're setting them out, trying to get, you know, get everything in line.
yeah, I'm sure the national site has more information on it, you know,
Sure.
but if, you know, between the two of you, if you guys could pull something together for us, that would be great.
Yeah.
And we'll get it up on the, get it
Bob,
up on
I'm-
the webpage, and you guys can report back to us, you know, next week, you
Absolutely.
know, on what it is, so.
Bob,
Sure.
I
Yeah.
just sent you my email in a private chat. So
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah,
Good
it's
deal.
it's not just major major metro areas. I know one of our nearby clubs does this regularly, and they're out in farm country up in the thumb, and they do it for a smaller city city by the name of Bay City on Lake Huron.
Sure.
And they do that every year. The club, they're organizing, they get together like once a month to turn bowls together, and come April or whenever I know the auction is early, but they have it, you know, a charitable organization in Bay City, and it's a big deal. And they, you know, they make hundreds, if not thousands, for this charity every year just
Sure.
by doing that. So yeah.
Sure.
And it's not just bowls, you know, they have ceramic bowls, they have all different types of art pieces. And that's
Yep.
basically what it is. It's an art, I don't know, not a gallery, but it's artists out here just giving different things for them to auction off.
Yep. It's a charitable auction to help feed the hungry. Yep.
Yes.
What is the organization called?
Empty bowls.
Empty Bowls. Okay.
Is there a size and shape or something that?
No, not necessarily. You know, you can turn anything that you want, that you want to turn. They do like nicer bowls. You know, maybe, you know, 10-inch, 12-inch bowls, just because people are auctioning them off and trying to buy them. You know. They will take the smaller ones, you know, like the ones that I showed earlier here. This was likely a 9-inch bowl. And they like those too, but just anything.
Well, Bob,
It's emptybowls.com for anybody that wants to look it up. I'm looking at their website right now.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there you go.
Perfect.
Bob, if you get them to change their name to Bottomless Bowl, everybody could send their funnel bowls. They'd be hundreds of thousands.
That's what I was thinking too.
That's right. So bottomless.
Yep, it'd be a good way for you to get rid of you know, all the dog food bowls and the less desirables you may have hanging around as well, you know.
Sure.
Your little 4-inch bowls and saucers, you know, send them off, you know.
Sure.
Stuff that you don't, you know, along those lines of wares, to, you know, be a good way. But yeah, look forward to hearing what you guys come up with next week.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
with that, let's go back to doing a little bit of gallery. Let's see what Mr. Goblet's got.
Well, y'all know I make mushrooms. This is kind of my warm up thing, and the fuzzies are raised with a skew, and I primarily reason I do them is so that I can do a smooth top, so that I can paint the top. Now this is something I just started working on last night and today, okay, and this is these Ranger Ink liquid pearls.
You down that
Okay.
road.
The Scott and I were talking about.
I know, right?
Yeah, last week. So it's a dimensional paint. So the paint is 3D, and it's alcohol ink rather than acrylic. So it it dries in an hour or quick, and it holds the shape better than the acrylics do. So y'all can see that I've got all kinds of little spikies on top of this thing. So, but you know, and y'all have seen these sorts of patterns. So this is, and it looks a lot cooler in person because this is a pearl. It's a pearlescent paint, and it really shimmers. So it's a really neat thing, and this is all just out of this little spigot top on the top of this thing. So I haven't used any other tools. I've just used the little spigot on the top of the paint bottle. So there you go, and that's from what Scott and I were talking about last week.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
All right, let's go see what Joaquin's got. I'm gonna bounce around here.
Okay. I got a bird story. Y'all have seen some birds and stuff, but this is pretty involved now. The rest of the story. But I had first turned one of these birds. Where's my camera? What happened? I can't see myself.
I see you.
Huh.
Now let's go back to you again.
There you go. Okay. So this is one I turned between centers. And then, you know, we come up with the Duxbury jig, turned that. Then we come up with the Paul Howard jig. And so I'd turned this bird here, and it was seen at SWAT, and Kelly asked me to demo at Austin. The bird. Here's another one that it was, I was too short on the legs, so I ended up cutting it off and putting just a dowel there. But when I think I told you last week, when I did that demo, toward the end, the chuck broke out. It's got dovetail in there. And I'd used about the sixth time I turned it. And I took it off the chuck to show them everything. Probably didn't get it in the right place. You can see where it broke off here.
Yeah.
Okay. And hit the floor. Like, oh my gosh, what a way to end the demo, There was nothing I could do about it. So when I called Paul Howard, I'd lost his email, and I said, this thing fell on, I'm doing this demo. He said, well, Kane, it's not supposed to last forever. It's not that endurable. Oh, he says it works better with a faceplate on it. So I says, okay, I've got to finish this bird and do the rest of the story. So I made one with the faceplate on it, and this bird was really in bad shape. It was terrible, nothing to be proud of. But it was on here, parted it off, and finished it. So it ended up finishing. I'm going to do a story and send back to them in a newsletter. But Howard, he sent me his drawing, and he sent me this picture. It's out of Chris Scott's Turning Boxes, 50 Designs. And he challenged me to turn this box. Here.
Oh, wow.
And I just happened to have the book, I said, okay. So, and it's got 3 centers on it. And so I did meet the challenge.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oh, wow.
This is Mesquite. You see the bottom offset's about a 1/2 inch, top offset's 5/8 of an inch. You can turn it around though. Different out of it.
Wow.
But I haven't sent him a picture of it yet to show him, hey, I accomplished it. Made the challenge. It was so cool though, for all this to happen, and all because my piece fell out of the lathe during this demo. So
that is good.
Yeah.
Open it up, Joaquin.
Okay.
Open it up where we can see inside.
Yeah, it's about a ring. It's about a ring size box.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's so thin.
All right.
Yeah, and it was fun to turn. I really enjoyed it.
Good job.
Yeah, well done.
So anyway, it's funny how things work out. You end up learning something from some big mistake you had.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. What else you got?
Oh, that's
it?
Yeah.
No way.
Well, it is for now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
I won't badger you.
Well, I don't think I got anything you hadn't seen yet. I don't know.
No, it's all good, Joaquin. Thank you.
Thank you. Mhm.
All right. Hey,
Okay.
Scott.
This is just for Matt and everybody else. That same ink that Matt just showed you, I spread out on this on the bottom of this soon-to-be box.
It's pretty.
Pretty.
Cool.
It's got a nice color to it. Just
And then I had a crack in it. So they make gold mix-all, same kind of ink. And I filled that crack with the gold ink using super glue fine tip that you get with your super glues, the fine tip that you can put on them.
Yeah.
That's what I used to fill the crack.
Cool.
That's freaking awesome, man.
You sealed it first, right, Scott? You sealed it.
No, I did not.
You didn't? Okay.
I painted the paint first, and then I let it dry good. Turned the inside of the bowl, hoping that crack would come through, which it didn't, because I was going to fill it from the inside out.
Yeah.
It didn't, so I filled it from the outside. I sanded it after I got a little bit of spillage, so I sanded it off with 320 grit, just took the excess off. Didn't sand, I sanded till I got to the red and stopped. And this has got 2 coats of lacquer on it right now.
Pretty.
That's sweet.
But it's going to be a lidded box when I'm finished.
Forward to seeing it.
So that's not the only thing you can do with that same pearlite ink that Matt just showed. You can spread it out with a makeup pad or a brush, whatever you want. If you use a brush, you got to kind of buff it back with some 400 or 320.
Do you use any thinner, like a denatured alcohol or something with it?
Nope.
Nope.
I just spread it out just like I did on this poor board that's got multiple colors.
Yeah.
Nice.
Test.
Very cool, Scott.
So the purple is 2 layers because it didn't cover real well. If it kind of thinned out, so I did it in 2 coats, about 15 minutes apart.
Yeah, it dries quick.
So
yeah, I'm really enjoying this journey, Scott. Thanks.
Right.
So am I.
You know what? I wonder if you coated your workpiece with denatured alcohol first before putting the inks on, if it would cover better and not dry out as quick.
One of the issues you have with DNA is it effervesces too darn quickly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
True.
It isn't drying when you're spreading it. It doesn't dry out too fast. What happens is the wood absorbs it, and sometimes you got to put a second layer on places that are drier than others. That's all.
Yeah.
It's like dye. It's essentially works like dye. You just got to put a second coat on this red one. That's only 1 coat. I didn't put 2 coats on that. It covered a little better than the purple. The purple tended to thin out, and you could see it got blotchy like. But I just waited 15 minutes and put a second coat on, and that went totally away.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good as some of us go down that rabbit hole.
It's a work in progress.
Right. All right. Let's go to Brent. I got you, Brent.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
So I got this here piece. This is a piece that I took a class with Trent Bosch last spring. So this is a copy of one of his pieces. So giving credit where credit's due. This is he calls it a vessel of illusion. It's a elm with a centerpiece is cherry.
Wow.
It's kind of a process to make these. Got to turn this centerpiece real thin, and then you got to boil it and bend it to get it down inside there.
Oh, okay.
Wow. And then then you got to put a balloon inside it and inflate the balloon to hold it up inside there while that dries.
Comes back.
Then I carved the center out there. The outside is all turned with a double lip, and it's all carved with double lip to make these petals. The petals are all carved to recess to make the sides. Can't really see the carving very well on this and such, but I wanted a kind of a natural type of edge on this thing. So I had to cut this really fat on that when I turned that schnoot on that inside piece and such. But this was quite a, it doesn't look like much from outside, but this was quite a process here and such. But
yeah,
wow.
I'm glad you explained that, because that's what was, ever since I saw it the other day, and I'm like, how in the hell did he get that in there?
Yeah, it was kind of, so it's like had to turn that really, really, really thin. And I busted a couple of them going in there when I did that. So I had to boil it and bend it to go in there.
Right.
Then hold it in there with inflated a balloon inside there and held it up in there while it dried.
Yeah.
And then I glued it in there with caulking, so that the idea was concerned that the elm and the cherry would differentially move. So that wanted something with a little flex so it wouldn't crack and such. So, but it was an interesting little process. And I made this, like I say, I don't really want to show this around too much because I don't like copying other people's work too much. But, Trent was right there when I did this, and he explained it to me and taught me how to make it and such. So,
yeah.
But I like this process of this bending thing here. I'm actually working on another piece right now with using that process with actually multiple openings on a single piece using that process. So it's kind of a cool little idea, I think. So that's what I got.
Awesome. And then we'll chat later about what we were talking about earlier, Brent.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Okay. We'll see you. Bye.
All right. Let's go to Mr. Roll Tide, the original Roll Tide. What you got, Howard?
Oh, can you hear me now?
I got you.
Okay. Can't get that off. There we go. All right. Somebody wanted me to show this. I don't know if I showed it before, but it's an elevated vase. Well, I don't know. Can y'all see that? Let me do
we
back
can
some.
now.
This thing is huge.
Yeah. And the reason I made this stand for it is because
it wouldn't stand up by itself.
It wouldn't stand up by itself. It kept falling over.
Yeah.
But this is maple, and the lid here, the insert is sapele. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Beautiful grain.
Yep. Yeah, it's got some great grain for sapele.
And the finial is maple. I'm sorry, not maple. Holly.
Okay.
It screws in.
Oh wow.
And it's
So
got
Holly takes a good thread.
It has another finial, a purple heart, and they both connected together by Brazilian cherry that is threaded, and this is threaded on the inside. So anyway, the stand. They were doing the demo last week of making the picture frame, and so this is the ring that helps hold the iron in, and it's bird's eye maple. I don't know if you
Birdie.
Yeah.
Wow.
See
that.
You got eyes for days.
And the stand, the legs is Purple Heart, and they're not, so that they can fit in here like this.
Oh, that's cool.
And then when you put the urn in there, it holds the legs in.
I think you need another hand to hold that.
Well, I thought I had one, but it left a while ago. But anyway, it kind of goes like that.
Yeah.
So,
That is amazing.
That's awesome, Howard. Absolutely awesome.
so anyway,
Now, did you turn the legs?
Pardon?
Did you turn the legs or did you cut them out?
No, I cut on bandsaw, then worked on them with a belt sander.
Yep. Yeah, they look great.
Couldn't figure out how I would turn that, but anyway,
It looks pretty. It looks nice.
And it's finished with just regular oil finished on it. So anyway, almost looks like a bullet, you know.
Yeah,
almost, yeah.
So one thing, I made this 2-pointed. I guess I'm so tired of hollowing this thing out that I didn't round it off more than what I should have. Should have been not so acute. But anyway,
shit, it works. It looks great.
Real pretty.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Fantastic job, Howard.
Well, thank you. Well, that's all I got.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you've showed that before. I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, somebody said, well, why don't you show that piece? And I said, well, I've already shown it. They said, well, I haven't seen it, so.
I don't remember seeing it.
No,
I don't remember it.
I can't even remember my name half the time, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right,
All right.
thanks, Howard.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Mr. Smith.
Hello.
We got you.
Well, I made a tool for Dan, and I've been using it. It works very well. And I dyed it with green Ritz dye, truly green.
Oh, okay. That's truly green,
cool.
isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, it's dark.
And it's got where some wormholes were doing their work.
Did you fill them? Did you fill them?
Oh, the worms, yeah. But I just said, well, I could turn it down or leave them. And I decided to leave it. You know.
Nice job.
Sure. Give it character.
Give it a little more character.
Yeah, it's not down on the power hand where it would create a hot spot, so it's all good.
Yep.
Looks good, Dan.
Yep. Thank you much. That's all I got for this week. Next week, I got a couple other things.
All right. Thanks for sharing. All right, let's go to Mr. Joey. Hey, Joey.
Oh, hold on. Let me turn the light off for just a second. Here's my Valentine's tea light.
Ah.
Oh, there you go.
How cute.
It's an inside out. The top is yellow pine, and the base is made out of cherry. And then it's just got a little tea light that goes in it.
Yeah.
And since it's Valentine's Day is coming up, I thought I'd show this, and this is also the first thing I've ever shown on here.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Send a
Looks
picture.
great, Joey.
Send a picture to the editor so we can include in the newsletter for February as well, for the turn for something special.
Okay.
Yep.
Will do.
That's the February challenge.
Okay.
Well done, Joey.
Good job,
Thank you.
Joey. Good job.
Thank you.
Gets him in the 2x4 club.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely qualifies for the 2x4 club.
Okay. Didn't think about that.
Yeah, so send a picture of it to the webmaster.
Okay.
The webpage, from his,
I will do.
grab it, webmaster at worldwidewoodturners.org.
Okay.
That'll work.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's go to Terry. What you got, Terry? You're muted.
Now I'm unmuted.
You're good now.
Not good, huh? Let me turn on some lights. I didn't know we were going to get on. I've been playing with a bunch of different things. I don't know. They had a big discussion whether it's a bowl or a plate or a platter. I'm still not sure. Combination of all three. It's mesquite. It's got a lot of character to it.
Looks like it's kind of falling apart.
Yeah, it's pretty. Got the bark and inclusions on it. It was fun to turn, and this is another.
Maybe
mesquite
just
I
a
like
work
is
of art.
Say what?
Maybe just a work of art also.
Yeah.
Bowl, platter, artwork.
I like the mesquite because it's just so varied. They're both mesquite, and look at the difference in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, different tree, but I'm sure. But this is a piece I really wasn't very happy with it. I put these bow ties in it, and I hand carved them, and I didn't get them right, and I didn't really like them. But I decided they were going to be a special character, and they would be all right. And I put a raised foot on it, and I filled it. I think the fills with coffee grounds, and the places the wormholes were real bad. But that's that. And then this is a pecan one that I've been working on and started it and threw it away and started it again. The black is coffee grounds and CA glue, filling the wormholes. That wormholes, I can see it's 5 inches long. It goes all the way through into the back. And it's pretty funny. One of the guys looked at my shop one day and he says, I thought you had a lathe to make round things. I said, yeah, we use a table saw to make square things, but we do that. And then we had it last week at the club, but we have a learn and turn on the second weekend of every month, the second Saturday. And Joaquin is usually the main culprit in there. So I thought I'd help him out, and I fixed up 4 or 5 blinks so that we'd have nice stuff to turn on and see who showed up, because he likes to turn bowls. Well, it worked out real well, except Joaquin didn't show up. He had to deal with his grandchildren. So I wound up down there with 3 students and going from one lathe to another. Not students, there are members and they're learning. And so I took a couple of books with me, different, I don't even remember who they were, and told them, I said, okay, if we want to do this, they want to make bowls. They said, let's go through the book, find something, the design that you like, and we'll kind of shoot towards that. Well, they came out really nice, both of them. I don't have pictures of them, but when I came home, I figured I better make one of my own. And one of the members had given me a piece of spalda pecan. I thought she liked me, but when I got done turning, I'm pretty sure she doesn't think that much of me. I don't think. It's just full of wormholes. I was thinking about filling them, and I cleaned them out. I'm just going to leave them. It's not finished. I'm going to go ahead and just put some lacquer on it or something when I get done sanding it, and just leave the holes in it. But it has a nice shape. The spigot's going to come off, and I thought the shape was nice, and it's got a lot of character with the holes in it. But so that's pretty much what we got going, but we really had a good time. But we really did miss Joaquin. He'll be there next time. But it's a lot of fun. The learn and turn's always a lot of fun.
I bet.
And that's all I got for this week.
All right. Thanks, Terry. All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour of the last hour, and let's go back to Captain Eddie for closing comments, and we'll go from there.
It's scary when I have to follow him. That's so scary. You make me follow Terry?
Yeah, I had to. Yeah, sorry. I didn't
Man.
plan it that way.
Yeah, the things y'all come up with. I had a great meeting this evening, folks. A great meeting. A lot of things we saw. Great demonstration from Scott in California. Hey, if y'all see Scott, thank him. See, tomorrow Scott will forget he ever did this. So, it's that California way of living. But we had a great time tonight. We learned a lot of things. And if we didn't mention it tonight and you're still with us, if you turn a nice piece, you want to show it off, make sure you send a photograph, 300 DPI. Details are on our website, but send it to editor@worldwidewoodturners.org. And we will use it in our newsletter, which is out now. Issue number 3 is out now, and we want you to share it. So above all else, spread the word about Worldwide Woodturners. And Sue's not with us tonight, but she said to tell you, be safe. And Donald says, save the chat. And I'm telling you, if you get out this week, be careful. I am Captain Eddie Castle, and you're with WorldwideWoodturners.org, your wood turning club. There's another like it. Y'all take care. Stick around, because this is when it really gets interesting. Really. And
Really?
don't get no trouble. No trouble.
Sure.
It's interesting.
I don't believe that at all.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm talking about? He clean forgot what happened a while ago.
Guys are
night,
already
everybody.
wound up.
See y'all next week.
Good night.
Captain Eddie.
Good
Night.
night,
Night,
Eddie.
Eddie.
Good night, everybody.
I'm gonna go too. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for showing up.
Good night, Eddie.
Good night.
Stuff tonight.